Right here.
You're live, neighbor.
Yeah. Good evening to you. Good evening. Hi, how you doing? One and only Sheffrey, how you do? All right, great. Good
No.
evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the Hello Neighbor Primetime Show. It's the political show where we talk politics, and tonight I am going to be doing something that not many people will do. I am going to be, we're going to talk a little bit about the sectorial presentation of Minister Charles later on. We're gonna take you down to Parliament. Um, Shafreen, if you could line up the minister's presentation for me in Parliament today. The Prime Minister also had a couple of things to say in the Parliament, as well as the Finance Minister Williams. But the matter of Buju is fresh on the minds of many Jamaicans, and we have made a fundamental error in this matter, and I'm going to point it out. It may take me a little time to point this out, but I think that I need to do it. And I need to do it very candidly, very honestly, because I respect my listeners. I respect you. I respect you enough to guide you. I respect you enough not to have you misled. And I respect you enough to teach you um, and to open your eyes to the fallacy of journalism in Jamaica. Um, I should tell you that we always crave your support. If you are on YouTube, please get on to the super chat tonight. Make sure that you subscribe, that you like the channel. If you are on TikTok, please send us as many roses as you can, as many gifts, and of course, join us later on, maybe just around 8, 9 o'clock, when you talk your own mind. Our moderator is with us. Good evening to you, Caroline.
Hi, good evening, neighbor. How are you?
I'm not bad at all. I didn't go. I didn't go anywhere today.
Oh dear.
I bought nothing. Remember, I canceled my order today.
I was very busy today, neighbor.
By the way, I actually went to KFC to get a famous bowl. You know those little famous bowl.
No, neighbor, I don't eat there.
Okay. Oh wow, you don't eat at KFC?
KFC?
You don't eat at KFC?
No, neighbor.
Why is that?
Because I think it's unhealthy.
Well, I go there from time to time. They have these little dish, $500 for it. It's crushed Irish potato, and they put a little corn in it and a little piece of chicken.
Well, neighbor, I hope you don't think they actually crushed Irish potato.
It's actually flakes. Yeah. Right.
Right. No, how unhealthy is that, neighbor?
It is very unhealthy. I agree with that. But
why are you being so self-destructive?
I can't help it, because I couldn't afford anything. What could I get with $540?
Well, may I suggest you start smoking soon?
Smoking, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
You want me to start smoking?
Well, you're into unhealthy stuff.
Oh my God. I thought you thought better of me than to so. No, but you know, sometimes I will, so that you don't recommend that I keep eating that.
No, neighbor.
So I'm asking, what could I do with 540?
$540.
Yes.
You could buy sugar cane. You could buy like a jelly coconut, a salad.
But that wouldn't fool me up, man.
Well, neighbor,
See,
you eat. You don't. I mean, were you going long distance, neighbor?
Long distance today?
No, you went a lot. You did a lot of work.
No, not really. I am working on a little project, and
Yeah,
and sweating.
but neighbor, food is fuel. You know, it's like gas. If you're not going far, you don't need to fill up.
So that activity that men do at nights, should they eat before?
I think so.
Oh boy, I tell you something. How is my screen? Is it okay?
Yes.
Is my screen okay?
Yeah, yes, neighbor.
Okay then. Well, Caroline. The matter of that girl, lady in Lady Buju, is her name? What's her name?
Her name is Latoya, and her name that she goes by, that everybody knows her as, is Lady Buju.
Oh, what is her full name? Okay.
Well, let us call her Lady Buju, neighbor.
Lady Buju. Yeah, Lady Buju. Yeah.
Yes.
It has fueled a lot of discussions, but I think that
everyone repost the live, please.
Yeah, I think that journalist Cliff Hughes, who is a man, you know, I must tell you the truth. I have mixed views of Hughes. You know, I think Hughes would have contributed significantly to journalism in Jamaica, but I have mixed views of Hughes, you know, because you know, I've spoken to Hughes, I think maybe twice. I've been on his program, and I don't well, let me not even get there because I don't want this to be personal. This is simply about what he did on his program a couple evenings ago. I'm going to share it with the listeners. So Caroline, catch you later.
Yes, neighbor. But before you go, neighbor, good evening, listeners. I'm a little hoarse. Yes, you know, severe allergies. But good evening, welcome. I trust you all had a great day. Asking everyone to tap the screen, share the live, support the live goal.
This looks like me.
And remember to press that white arrow and then that yellow circle and repost the live, please. Have a great show, neighbor.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
I'm going to play for you, my listeners, 2 pieces of commentary on the Buju matter. By the way, I want to make it clear that I have deep respect for processes, and I want the people in Granville to know that my thoughts and prayers are with them and their families. This is a tragic loss. It is a tragic loss, and the circumstances ought to be properly and thoroughly investigated. The first piece I'm going to play for you is from Pellucid Perry. I want you to listen to Mr. Perry. Mr. Perry is a university graduate. He's a social media influencer, and Mr. Perry is a member. Well, he's a supporter of the People's National Party. He calls himself Perry in Christ. He's a blogger. He has a program on YouTube. And Mr. Perry is a preacher. Listen to him.
Absolutely no justification. Latoya Bulgin was murdered in cold blood.
You hear that? You know the reason why
there is absolute.
I told you that Mr. Perry is a university graduate, because one of the things that education is to do for you is to enlighten you. Education, those of us who have had the benefit of education should be enlightened. And Mr. Perry here does not sound like an educated man. Mr. Perry not sound like an educated man at all. No, I'm just playing Perry for you to set the context of what I'm going to do tonight. Listen to him.
Everyone repost the live, please.
Listen to him, and then I'm going to play Cliff Hughes. Now, I do not put Perry and Hughes in the same bracket or category, which is why I am very disappointed in Mr. Hughes, Mr. Cliff Hughes. And you know, Mr. Hughes, you must be careful that you do not tarnish the journalistic reputation that you have. You, Mr. Hughes, would have built up credibility and reputation over the years. Working on various media houses, you are an Emmy Award journalist. Emmy Award. One of the very few journalists in Jamaica that have gotten an Emmy Award. But there was nothing in your commentary that was Emmy. Nothing. As a matter of fact, let's go to Mr. Perry.
No justification. Latoya Bulgin was murdered in cold blood by a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force yesterday.
They should arrest Mr. Perry for that. Mr. Perry should have been arrested. I don't know what is happening. Sheffreen, I think I seem to have been gone. Sheffreen, listeners, okay, I am back. I am back. If you listen to this absurd man,
there is
this absurd man, what a piece of irresponsible behavior from this man. You know, Mr. P, you and I are friends, you know. Well, you and I are friends. I don't know if we are friends, but you are being very irresponsible, Mr. Perry. Very irresponsible. As a matter of fact, I think you are being more than irresponsible. You're a dangerous man. Listen to him again.
Absolutely no justification. Latoya Bulgin was murdered in cold blood by a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force yesterday, the 17th of May, 2026.
You hear that? You hear that? He's a very dangerous man, that. That boy there. I call him a man. He's not a man. Men don't behave like that, you know. And 1711. In 1711, Alexander Pope, in an essay on criticism, writes, "A little learning is a dangerous thing. A little learning is a dangerous thing. Drink deep, or taste not the Pierian spring." The Pierian spring is it's from Greek mythology, right? It was associated with the goddess, the artistic inspiration of knowledge. Drinking from the Pierian spring symbolizes acquiring knowledge and wisdom. There's a lot of people with knowledge, but they don't have wisdom. The Bible actually tells us, that if a man lacks wisdom, he's to pray for it. That's what the Bible says, that if you lack wisdom, you are to pray so that you can have wisdom. A man like Perry ought not to be on the air. He should not be in social commentary talking to people, because he doesn't have wisdom. He has knowledge, but knowledge without wisdom is destructive. And you see your mouth? One man write one song, say the mouth I go put them in a problem. Now, if that was not bad coming from young Perry, listen to one of Jamaica's most senior journalists.
This looks.
He's what? The executive director at Nationwide? Mr. Clifford Hughes. Now, Mr. Hughes is a man of influence. Thousands of people listen to Mr. Hughes. As a matter of fact, Hughes have more influence than many politicians in Jamaica. And the influence he has came about because of his journalistic acumen, his journalistic work, and he would have built credibility over decades of doing this job. But on this matter, Clifford Hughes, you were wrong. You erred and you misled the people of Jamaica. What you did here is not journalism. It is unethical, and it's a breach of the trust that so many Jamaicans repose in you, Mr. Cliff Hughes. And I wonder if something has gone wrong down at Nationwide. You know, I didn't want to go there, but Miss Nikisha Burchell made a comment in Parliament, and I probably will need to go there, but I don't want to ruffle too much feather. Listen to Hughes.
This looks like murder. It looks like murder. This is not how you
defend yourself. And he was in no imminent danger of being run over by the Boxy. No, you see where he steps out of the way. The pace of the Boxy, yeah, is not at a speed that you could say that he is in imminent danger. Unless there's something else that I'm not seeing. And Buju is now dead as a result of this. You know?
There you have it. There you have it. Now, let me tell you what's happening here. There is a dangerous modern temptation to confuse which one of the cameras? This one or that one? This one? Okay. Confusing visibility with truth. We are living in an age of viral videos. And public outrage often arrives long before public understanding. There is a difference between public outrage and public understanding. And that is precisely why commentary surrounding the fatal shooting of LaToya demands moral caution rather than emotional haste. Mr. Hughes is on the side of emotional haste. So too is Pelucid Perry. Both of them must be called out for it. Follow me. No civilized society should dismiss the gravity of a citizen dying by the hand of the state. That is not my argument. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights. You hear me quote that all the time. And that it is to secure these rights why government exists. And therefore, when the state becomes involved in the taking of a life, it is a very serious matter. Every police shooting, therefore, deserves rigorous, transparent, and independent investigation. That is why INDECOM exists. But public scrutiny is not only legitimate, it is necessary in a democracy. But scrutiny must not become premature certainty. Premature certainty is not journalistic excellence. And I never got no journalism school. Never step in there one day. I am using ethics to reason this out with you. This is where the intervention by Cliff Hughes raises serious philosophical and ethical concern. Because Hughes has characterized the incident as this looks like murder. What does murder look like, Mr. Hughes? And he has done so before the completion of investigations. This looks like murder. Mr. Clifford Hughes has crossed a delicate boundary that responsible journalism ought carefully to preserve. Because a journalist is not a judge. Clifford Hughes, you're not a judge. You are not a judge, sir. And only a judge, having reviewed the evidence, can say that. Dismiss Perry, because Perry is just, maybe Perry a look likes. Because commentary cannot become conviction before evidence is assembled. That's been irresponsible. There is a deeper philosophical problem here, and it is deeper than one case. Again, I'm not defending the police. I'm defending principle. The philosophical challenge is that there is a collapse of humility. Epistemic humility, they call it. Because you have to be disciplined to admit what you do not yet know. You have to be disciplined to admit what you do not yet know. And I do not yet know the circumstances under which this lady, was unalive. I do not know it. And a viral video cannot provide me with sufficient evidence for me to pronounce that this was murder. It cannot. It cannot. Because a viral video may capture a moment, but there are moments. There is not only one moment, there are moments. And it is moments that are totalities, not a moment. Videos are fragments of reality. They are not reality in their fullness. They provide angles, not omniscience. Omniscience is the full picture, to know all. They provide context, not necessarily, they provide emotion, not necessarily context. You cannot use a viral video to pronounce murder. That is not being responsible. And that is not responsibility from a senior journalist. And I will tell you why later on. Because to declare an absolute from partial footage, you risk transforming journalism from a profession of inquiry into a theater of emotional mobilization. And in a highly volatile environment, words carry consequences beyond your studio walls, Mr. Hughes. When you sit behind that microphone, your words carry consequences beyond nationwide. Who is calling me here? I'm not getting into it. I wonder if I'm getting into any. Who is calling? Oh, well, I can leave that alone. I'm not going to give this up.
Asking everyone to repost the live, please.
And this is especially important in Jamaica's current social climate, where tensions between communities and law enforcement already simmer beneath the surface. You cannot seek to inflame the situation further when there is a simmering in the community. Public figures possess immense influence. When a prominent journalist, TikTok, work with me because I am talking to YouTube over here, okay? When a permanent journalist uses morally loaded language such as murder. Murder is a morally loaded language. When a journalist uses that word before due process unfolds, that language shapes the public's psychology. It can inflame passions and potentially contribute, even unintentionally, to public unrest. One wonders, and I'm not saying that this is so, because the police were under pressure, because there were fiery protests, roadblocks, and these illustrates how rapidly perception can harden into collective anger. And citizens have the right to protest. And citizens have the right to demand accountability. Public reaction should ideally emerge from facts. And these facts must be established through investigation rather than conclusions emotionally cemented through media framing. Because there is a danger of premature pronouncements. And the danger is that they poison the possibility of impartial truth seeking. Because if investigations ultimately reveal misconduct, then condemnation would be justified. And they would be necessary. But if complexities emerge that were absent from the viral footage, then the public's trust becomes further fractured because narratives were constructed before evidence matured. And that is the problem. Justice requires patience. Because truth is rarely instantaneous. Justice requires patience because truth is not instantaneous. Truth emerges over time through a process. And one of these evenings, I have promised to do this for you many times, is I'm going to tell you about perception, because And everything your eyes see are true, you know. It's not everything you see is true. We have to resist the modern appetite for instant moral absolutism. Responsible journalism should illuminate complexity, not inflame certainty. Repeat. Responsible journalism should illuminate. To illuminate is to clarify, to shine light on complexity, not inflame certainty. It should ask difficult questions without prematurely declaring definitive answers. Can someone explain to us why this happened? How could this have happened? Ask relevant questions. In moments such as these, Jamaica needs less emotional acceleration and more intellectual discipline. Because once the public outrage overturns or outruns verified truth, society risks replacing justice with collective impulse, and that is dangerous. It's a dangerous road for any democracy to travel. We cannot operate like this. Because there is a profound difference between activism and agitation. Healthy democracies requires citizens who are vigilant, courageous, and willing to question authority. That's okay. But democracy also requires restraint. Democracies require intellectual honesty. Democracy requires moral responsibility, especially from those who possess influence over public emotion. Every day, I understand the weight that so many of you come here at 7 o'clock to listen to me. And I take this responsibility seriously because I want to make sure that at the end of the day, the 3,000 or so people who are watching and are listening to me, that I am providing them with the type of rigorous analysis and truth that can inform their behavior because I have influence. This is why the rush by some social media operatives and online activists, including figures such as Perry, give me a second. Including figures like Perry, they immediately rush to label the Granville police shooting as murder before the completion of the investigation deserves a philosophical caution. Good evening to you, Info.
Good evening to you, hello neighbor. Good evening to your listeners. Good evening to your viewers, and especially in the diaspora. You have a great listenership in the diaspora. Good evening. Good evening. Let me open by saying, some of us who are political practitioners, and what happened over a few days ago with the policeman and the woman, I see labor rights and I see PNP aligning both political leaders photoshopping pictures of the Prime Minister with the young lady. And what is the narrative of that? I see we're Labour right cheering down the young lady. For what? Political expediency. How that solve the good work of this? How that solve the good work of the police force and the Prime Minister? That do nothing to the police force and the Prime Minister. I am cautioning my fellow colleagues. Be careful how we tear down things and meddle in the social media can be damaging to the Labour Party, how we do things, and not everything we go and tear down. We must allow the law to take its course.
Yes.
No, I am not going to quick to judge if the girl is wrong or the policeman is wrong. But all I am saying, we must not lose focus on reducing the crime in this country and the murders in this country. And I say this to say, one time in the past, our country police force is the most corrupted police force in the Western Hemisphere. Nobody wants to talk to us. Nobody wants to hear from us. Our justice system is in shambles. Or we conduct the affair of the policeman. You can be held with a gun last week and you can go buy back from a police and the man who hold you with it. That was the police force of the past. And if we, the supporters of the Labour Party, have our government in power, sometimes we think we are helping, but we are not helping the situation. And whether this girl is PNP or Labour, right, why are we politicizing this? What benefit we get when we politicize things like these? We get nothing from it. We must be cautious, some of us bloggers, how we deal with a situation like this.
Yes.
Because you have one set of pull to the police and you have one set of pull to the female. How can we get... We don't want the police force to go down that line again. We want the police force to seen as the police force, as the protector of we, the law-abiding citizens of this country. So I'm just warning the social media operatives, leave the situation to Dr. Blake and his team and the relevant authorities to deal with the system.
Yes.
I am not seeing where the politicizing helping the government, not helping the police force. How it's going to help the police force? The police know what they are doing. This police force is not the police of the 90s, nor the early 2000s. It's a first-class police force. Dr. Blake is a first-class, world-class commissioner. Any country would want Dr. Blake. Any country would want these type of policing that Andrew Holness spent almost $4 billion over the last 10 years developing a world-class police force. What they want to do, use social media and tear it down?
Yes.
When the policemen and women operating on the road and they stop you, their customer service is first class. Tell me where you have a perfect police force. Not even the great United States, nor the great Great Britain, you have a perfect police force. No, you don't have one. But you have 60% or 70% of the police now are making every effort to make this country a crime-free nation. Everybody's prone to make mistake. Everybody's prone to make mistake. And if this police makes mistake, nothing wrong with that. And we have to wait till the law take its course to know if it's murder or not.
Yes.
Remember, the PNP have an axe to grind. And we cannot afford to help them grind that axe. By fueling the fire. By saying things, allow the police to do what they are doing. And I am asking our bloggers, the Labour Party bloggers, please cease and desist from photoshopping pictures or whatever we do. Allow Dr. Blake and the competent team, the best team of policemen and women in the Caribbean, possibly the Western Hemisphere, at this point in time to deal with this case. If the police is wrong, we will know. If the woman is wrong, we will know. We cannot afford for the police force, the moral in the police force to be gone down because too much have been put into this police force to make it what it is today. And the policemen and women enjoying a good relationship with the citizens of this country. The intelligence within the police force is world class. Citizens have been complying with the police. We don't want that to break down, hello neighbor. We don't want that to break down.
Yes, sir.
And sometimes we rush to do things because of our emotions. And sometimes our So let me explain to you, hello neighbor. Sometimes people say they're loyal to you, and their loyalty can be very much detrimental to you. You know that? Some of us loyalty can be detrimental to the Andrew Holness-led administration because we're full of too much emotions. And we don't think before we act. Whether the lady are PNP or Labour, right, we don't need to politicize the situation. It don't help none at all.
Yes.
It don't help. Because we are acting on hearsay. And what we think, and we people are share. We don't have no evidence to substantiate what we have put up. None whatsoever.
Absolutely correct.
Because up to now, the police commissioner don't come out and say the lady have someone of interest. The police force never issue that. They may be gathering intelligence, hello neighbor. You understand what I mean? But they never come out and said she was a person of interest. So we have to be careful what we are doing. Because this police force, I must congratulate Dr. Kevin Blake and this police with this type of policing is putting in to safeguard our future. I can't tell when last I locked my window, and I'm not exaggerating, hello neighbor.
Right.
And we cannot afford this. We must be careful how we use social media. I've learned, I have been studying social media, it good and it bad.
Yes.
We cannot use emotion. We cannot use emotion. We cannot use it. Sometimes we say we are helping, but we are not helping. We are defeating the purpose of what it meant to far.
Yes.
And this is a warning to some of us who love jump. Because I saw what they did to Marlene Malawu Fort the other day when she have a difference of opinion. And it was not right. It was disgraceful and distasteful. We must be careful of how we deal with things.
Yes, sir. Yes.
What are some of us doing? Some of us are doing more harm than good, hello neighbor. We must be careful, man. I have every confidence in Dr. Blake and his team. I have never been so confident in police all my life.
Yes.
I have never been so confident in police all my life. And I am not going to say the police is right, but there must be something why he fired.
Well,
because he's not an idiot. Nobody with mental health problem is in the police force. Because guess what happened, hello neighbor? The Prime Minister's invested in every kind of help policemen and women can get to go on the road. Every kind of training, mental health training, social psychiatric, everything. This police force has get the necessary tool to fight crime. I am not saying everyone is perfect, but all of us are working to perfection. It's unfortunate she lost her life in that fashion.
Yes, sir.
But sometimes our action is what our action get our reaction. And at the point in time, people are saying this. I can't say what happened because I'm seeing from behind the vehicle and I'm seeing the policeman in front. You understand? I cannot say what happened. Some people are saying she moved the vehicle, so I cannot say. All me see, the policeman pull. There's never pull kind of madman. You would not say pull and a fire so like madman. It must be some movements or something. You understand? And that's facts.
Yes.
It must be some movement or something, and that's factual. But I say this to say hello neighbor, and I'm using your platform to tell the bloggers them who are run with the narrative and feel like they are helping the cause. Come and tell me now, by posting pictures and other things, how that helping the cause of the police force.
Not helping at all.
Not helping younger cars in the police force to gain more enemy than what they deserve.
Would you be able to join me back at 8:30?
It would be my pleasure to join you 8:30 to finish the conversation. I want to talk on a couple matters.
Yeah, join me at 8:30 or 8:30.
8:30.
Yes.
Caroline, hello, 8:30. Good. That's the producer.
Producer, can take back.
Yes, definitely. That's fine. I see you then.
Okay.
Okay, no problem, Caroline.
I thank Infomedia, and we're gonna talk back to him at 8:30. I wanted to finish this because I think it is so important. And he makes the point about social media. I have had my problems with them, My screen has gone. Come on back. Put it up. Okay, there you go. I've had my problems with them, I don't listen to a lot of people on social media. I don't listen to them. And let me leave them alone because I don't want them to get into no fight with me. I don't want no fight with nobody. I don't want no fight with nobody at all. But this rush by some social media operatives and online activists, including figures such as Perry, to label the Granville police shooting as murder before the completion of investigation is very concerning. Words are not harmless, you know. They are not harmless instruments. Language shapes perception, and perception shapes behavior. And in an age when one live stream, one post, one emotionally charged video can influence thousands within minutes, you bloggers carry an ethical burden too. All of you. I don't call no name, but you all carry a burden. You just have that little life and you turn on your camera. You carry a responsibility too. A viral video is not a courtroom. Your little live show is not a courthouse. You're not a judge. Some of you just need to. Social media page is not a forensic investigation. A public emotion is not a substitute for due process. Too often in this digital age, activism begins to confuse amplification of accuracy. The emotional intensity of a clip creates the illusion of complete understanding, even when crucial context may still be absent. It reflects what scholars call the crisis of immediacy. The crisis of immediacy. The modern inability to tolerate uncertainty. Societies are increasingly, they feel pressured to declare guilt instantly before facts mature and investigation unfolds. But as I said to you, justice is not built upon impulse. Justice requires patience because truth is often layered. Truth is often complex and incomplete in the early hours of any tragedy. And when you, as a social media influencer, is going up to talk about murder before legal investigations are reached, that's not just expressing an opinion. You are inflaming communities. You are hardening public anger. And you are contributing to environments where emotion overwhelms reason. And in these situations that are volatile, rhetoric can become gasoline. And when you pour gasoline upon grief, you don't pour gas upon grief. The whole place catch a fire. You know, Jamaica's relationship with policing is historically wounded. Jamaica's relationship with policing is emotionally layered. And it is very complicated. Any serious discussion, therefore, about police shooting, public outrage, and the media's responsibility must begin with truth. Here is the truth. For decades, many communities, particularly those that are marginalized in the urban areas, have carried memories of police excesses, unresolved killings, and political violence. These experiences are not imaginary. They are embedded within the social consciousness of the nation. Chops Media spoke to us about that this morning. There is an embedded consciousness in the consciousness of the nation. There is a history, and Jamaica must be careful. You hear what Infomedia said just now? We must be careful with how we handle these matters. This history, in the history, there is a suspicion towards law enforcement, and it did not emerge out of nowhere. It was cultivated over generations through experiences that caused many Jamaicans to view the state not always as protector, but at times aggressor. Societies remember the trauma long before and after institutions begin to reform themselves. The collective memory moves slower than the policy change. At the same time, Jamaica has also undergone significant transformation in public order and policing over the last decade. Murder rates, while they are still troubling, have seen periods of measurable decline. There is greater emphasis placed on intelligence-led policing, professionalization of the force, accountability structures, technological modernization, independent oversight, and reducing arbitrary abuses of power. We cannot say that the force today is the same force 10 years ago. We cannot say that there have not been any improvements. The administration of wholeness, they would have invested heavily in restoring public order and rebuilding confidence in national security institutions. And this has created a profound tension in the Jamaican society. Because on one hand, citizens are deeply alert to the possibility of police misconduct because of the history. And on the other hand, there is also the recognition that national stability, crime reduction, and social order require a functioning and effective security apparatus. Jamaica, therefore, exists within a delicate democratic balancing act, demanding accountability without collapsing the trust in the law enforcement altogether. And that is why someone like Cliff Hughes ought to be careful of his rhetoric on air. Because it is within this fragile space that media and public responsibility become critically important. Because whether you operate at the traditional or the social media level, you not only to accelerate emotion, but to mediate reality responsibly. Journalism at its highest form is not activism. Journalism is not propaganda. Journalism is not institutional defense. The purpose of journalists is the disciplined pursuit of truth. Pursuing truth under conditions of uncertainty. Media houses, commentators, influencers, and all activists should therefore approach incidents like police shooting with ethical restraint. And when we talk about due process, we are talking about allowing the institutions that are responsible for the investigation to do their job and to report back to the public. And in that regard, this statement
looks like murder. It looks like murder. This looks like murder. It looks like murder.
Let's respond to that. Mr. Hughes is revealing something here. It looks like murder. But there is a deeper assumption hidden beneath it. And it is the belief that visual interpretation alone is sufficient to morally classify an unfolding event as murder before formal investigation is complete. It looks like murder. Is it murder? What Mr. Hughes is attempting to qualify, because if you listen to him, you realize that he attempts to clarify his statement by saying this. Listen to him carefully.
This is not how you defend yourself. And he was in no imminent danger of being run over by the Boxy. No, you see where he steps out of the way. The pace of the Boxy, yeah, is not at a speed that you could say that he is in imminent danger. Unless there's something else that I'm not seeing.
There you go. Unless there is something else that I am not seeing. So the first thing he said is that it looks like murder. That the police was in no imminent danger. And then he says, unless there is something that I'm not seeing. But that caveat exposes the central contradiction of Mr. Hughes' reasoning. I'll point it out to you. The central contradiction is seen in that caveat, Clifford. Because if there may indeed be something else, based on what you say, unless there is something else, if there is something else unseen, then the certainty implies by invoking the word murder becomes unstable. Clifford, you can't have it both ways. If it looks like murder, then There can't be anything else. Because I would want to ask you, what exactly does murder look like under such circumstances? What does it look like? If it looks like murder, would you explain to us what does murder look like? Unless there is something else that I am not seeing. Murder is not merely the appearance of death on camera. Murder is not merely the appearance of death on camera. What is murder? I will tell you. Legally, morally, philosophically, murder involves the question of intent. Threat perception, proportionality, state of mind, context, sequence of events, and evidentiary interpretation. And hear me now, none of these can be fully established from a limited video fragment alone. None of those. So you cannot say it looks like murder. And this is where the commentary enters dangerous territory. That territory, for those of you who are deep in philosophy, is called epistemological. Epistemological territory. Because you move from visual impression to moral implication without sufficient evidentiary completion. In essence, he asks the public, hear me carefully, he asks the public to trust the authority of perception over the discipline of investigation. See if you follow me. Mr. Hughes is asking the public to trust the authority of perception over the discipline of investigation. But perception is notoriously unreliable. Perception is unreliable. It is unreliable because human beings instinctively interpret events through emotional framing. Human beings interpret through prior beliefs. Human beings interpret through historical mistrust and visual intuition. A video may suggest something emotionally compelling while still omitting critical contextual realities invisible to the viewer. Perception is unreliable, and you cannot cause people to trust the authority of perception over investigation. Let's ask some questions. What happened before the recording began? Do we know? What intelligence did the officers possess, if any? Do we know? What did the officer perceive in real time? Do we know? Was there fear, confusion, prior confrontation, or tactical information unavailable to the public? Do we know? Did the movement of the vehicle appear differently from the officer's physical position than from the camera's angle? Do we know? These questions are not defensive of wrongdoing, not defenses of wrongdoing. They are reminders that serious moral conclusions require investigative completeness. That's all. There is what you call optical morality. Optical morality is the belief that whatever visually appears unjust must therefore already be fully understood. That is what is called an optical morality. The belief that whatever visually appears must therefore already be fully understood. But listen to me. Visual immediacy is not omniscience. Omniscience is the ability to know all things. Only God knows everything. God is omniscient. They call it the ability to know all things. It comes in omnipotent. God is omnipotent, meaning that he's all powerful. Omnipower. And he's omniscient, meaning that he is aware of all things. Neither Perry nor Mr. Hughes are omniscient. They don't know all things. Cameras do not capture all things. Cameras compress dynamic. I'm going to wrap this up because I have to talk to Info in another 15 minutes. Here is something that and I want you to listen to Mr. Hughes again. I'm not knocking him too hard because he's a good man, but he erred on this, and I think we need to be called out for it. Hear him again.
This looks like murder.
You hear that? Here, listen to it. Listen to it again.
It looks like murder.
Okay. It looks like murder. He says it looks like murder. And then he goes on to say, unless there is something else I'm not seeing. Two statements are undermining each other. Philosophically, those two statements undermine each other. Because if there is acknowledgement of potentially missing information, then intellectual humility should logically suspend definitive moral characterization until the missing information is known. Do not say it looks like murder, because you then go on to say, I don't have all the facts. Then how can you pronounce first that it looks like murder? Then you go on to say, unless there is something I don't know. The responsible journalistic approach would have been to question the proportionality of force. That's okay. You can raise concerns about the officer's perceived danger. That's okay. You can call for a transparent investigation. You can invite scrutiny without prematurely introducing criminal terminology carrying enormous social and emotional consequences. Because the word murder is not neutral language. It is among the strongest moral accusation possible within a civil society. When you murder someone, it is an act that is dastardly. Now listen to this. Listen to this, young unwise.
There is absolutely no justification. Latoya Bulgin was murdered in cold blood by a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force yesterday.
No, he set it up himself as God. That's Mr. Perry. He's telling you what happened because he went did it. Him see it, him know it. There is no doubt, he says. My God, that is it. You know, this is just so sad. Now, get me clear. I am not pronouncing on this. I am telling you that we cannot be judge, jury, and executioner. It is not the role of Perry or Mr. Hughes to become the judge here and pronounce murder because they don't have all the facts. That's all I'm saying. That they should wait. And I am encouraging all of us to wait. Because when you introduce the word murder into the public discourse, especially by influential figures like Cliff Hughes and to a lesser extent Pellucid Perry, it frames how the audience interpret the event long before the investigators conclude anything officially. Long before the investigators conclude it, the public's perception is already formed because these people have influence. And this is so significant in Jamaica's social context, where historically we already distrust the police. Already there is a it's combustible on the ground. And in such environment, language does not merely describe reality, it actively shapes the social reaction. And Mr. Hughes may argue that he is expressing opinion. But I have to remind him that influence carries ethical responsibility. Public, intellectuals, and journalists are not ordinary private citizens, you know. Not ordinary citizens speaking casually among friends. Their words possess agenda-setting power. When Mr. Hughes speaks, it is shared over the world. When Cliff Hughes speaks, it goes viral. People share it. Here is what Mr. Hughes said. If Hughes says so, it goes so. Not many people are going to stop to question what he says. They'll just say, see it there. Mr. Hughes say a murder, so a murder. Their interpretations can emotionally mobilize communities, intensify anger, and potentially shape protest behavior. There's an irony, because the journalist is appearing to criticize the officer's judgment under pressure. Listen to him. Listen to him.
This is not how you defend yourself. And he was in no imminent danger of being run over by the boxy. No, you see where he steps out of the way. The pace of the boxy, yeah, is not at a speed that you could say that he is in imminent danger. Unless there's something else that I'm not seeing.
Now, he criticizes the officer's judgment under pressure while simultaneously exercising sweeping moral judgment himself under informational uncertainty. In both situations, conclusions are being reached rapidly in conditions of incomplete knowledge. Yet one is immediately condemned while the other is socially legitimized as commentary. The question to you as I close is, can a society committed to justice afford to normalize definitive moral accusation before evidence? Can we operate like this? Can we operate like this where we come to conclusions before investigations are completed? I think that's dangerous. I think that's dangerous not merely for law enforcement, but for the integrity of the justice itself. I think we should wait. Because we can't ask the public to trust the authority of perception over the discipline of investigation. That is precisely what we should resist. Journalism exists not merely to mirror the public's emotion, but to protect the society from the dangers of premature certainty. If you are operating on perception, you ask, what does this appear to be? If you are relying on investigation, you come to what can actually be established as true. Let us not collapse the two categories. I tell you that truth requires patience. Truth requires patience, not because truth is weak, but because reality is often more complex than appearance initially suggests. And if we are to be truthful, we must respect the difference between what seems true in the moment and what can withstand rigorous examination over time. 26 minutes after 8 o'clock. We have 4 minutes before we talk to Infomedia. Because once perception becomes superior to investigation, justice becomes vulnerable to spectacle, to emotion, and to narrative fashion. And a democracy governed by spectacle rather than disciplined truth-seeking eventually loses the moral stability necessary to sustain both justice and public order. We have a far way to go. We have a lot to learn. And all of these moments presents us with opportunities to learn. But we must remember where we have come from. Remember who we were. And I beg you, Jamaica, in all of this, support law enforcement. Because me and you, no say, we need them. When they err, when they make mistakes, let the process deal with it. Let us continue to support law enforcement. You are not judge. Me are not judge. Me name did it. You name did it. Let us wait on the process to be completed, and let us trust the process. Part of our problem, and the parliamentarians are having the same problem, is that we don't trust ourselves. We do not trust the very institutions we have set up to overlook these processes. Mistakes can be made. Mistakes are made every day at hospitals, in the force, in the church. Mistakes are made. When mistakes are made, a process is to be instituted. That process requires the support of the Jamaican people. We cannot build a society on perception where we pronounce on critical matters before investigations are complete. We have to progress beyond this. The society requires it. And quite frankly, it is disappointing that senior people in media are asking people to believe perception rather than investigative truth and facts. Let's go to the callers. I think I have Infomedia coming up here at 8:30. Let's go. Before we go to that, because we close at 10 o'clock. The sectoral debate was on today in the parliament. Here is a little piece from Shireen Golden.
Authority Act. Hi folks, I'm Shireen Golden Campbell, Government Senator. I want to talk to you today about the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority Act, which establishes the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority, or as we've commonly referred to it, NARA. What is NARA? Folks, NARA is a delivery machine. It's an implementing body. It's not an advisory agency. It's not a regulatory body. It's the authority that's intended to deliver the reconstruction and resilience projects that we need to ensure our recovery from the devastating Hurricane Melissa and to ensure that we build back better. One of the things we have to acknowledge is that our traditional public service system that administers and delivers on public programs and projects has not been the most efficient delivery of services, and therefore the outcomes to the Jamaican people have been lagging and delayed over many, many years. This is not new. NARA is intended to speed up that process. It's not intended to replace these approving bodies. It's intended to ensure that they operate faster, against timelines, and that ultimately the projects that we need delivered are completed. The approving bodies, like the ones I mentioned, will still do their work, but NARA will be there to ensure they do their work against timelines NARA will be there to check in to ensure that the process is moving, and where these bodies fail to act, NARA is empowered to make an application to the minister for a stepping order to ensure that a decision is made to move a project forward and the project does not sit languishing in the halls of these approving bodies.
Okay, there you have it. A little bit on NARA. That's Shireen Golden Campbell. She's a government senator. We have joining us at this time our friend Infomedia. Good evening again to you, Infomedia. Thank you for the patience.
Good evening, hello neighbor. That's what we have to do. We have to do what we have to do in the interest of our country, not any political party.
Thank you.
But we have to ensure that the truth surface like oil, where the politics and the politicking is concerned in this country. Some of us don't understand that Jamaica have an image that we must protect. People like you and I must protect the image of this country, because Jamaica never, in the last 15 years, never enjoyed such international recognition and the levels of respect and the brand we have to. I think this brand is one of the biggest brand we ever see a country could ever carry. The weight on this administration's shoulder and the people of this country's shoulder. We must at all costs protect brand Jamaica. Good evening again, neighbor, and to your listeners. Good evening, Kali. I see Arcade. Good evening, Kali. Hello, neighbor. The incident that took place in Montego Bay.
Yes.
That rests on me so much, because I am more sympathetic to the policeman. Not said I agree with what he do, but sometimes we do things. And we look back in ourselves, but we have to understand that Jamaica, coming from a dark place that we don't want to turn back, we have to ensure that Jamaica don't turn back, where the dance operate the police force and the street boy them can talk to the policemen and women anyhow.
Yes.
Afford that. We cannot afford that. We cannot afford that, hello neighbor. Despite what happened in Montego Bay, we must steadfast on the reduction of crime and violence in this country. We must stand behind the policemen and women of this country and correct them when they are wrong, but we must stand with them in the crime fight initiative in this country. We cannot go back there, hello neighbor. I'm worried we cannot go back there.
No, you earlier had some concerns about how bloggers are covering this matter, and these bloggers are specifically bloggers that are supporters of the party. What are those concerns?
You know, I saw bloggers posting up pictures of the young lady. It is questioning. It is true. Is it Photoshop? To my best of my knowledge, is it Photoshop? Persons are saying the pictures took in Florida. Some persons are saying the pictures are here. But here why I'm worried now, little neighbor. We the PNP bloggers give the PNP opportunity to politicize the narrative.
Yes, but where is the politics here, really?
Because there's a picture going around with her in a green armband.
Oh.
And so the PNP is saying she's a laborite, and the Andrew Wellness-led administration policing cost her life to loss. And that is where it gets dangerous, hello neighbor. That is where it gets dangerous, because it is going to go down the political route, and it's not a political matter.
Yes.
So if the PNP, let the PNP run with it. We should not be a part of that narrative. We should not post up any picture about it, about the young lady. We should just, if we want to comment on it, but do not go into the tit for tat and the photoshopping with pictures of the young lady. I think it is damaging to the case, and the case is being politicized as we speak right now. Let me tell you something about PNP bloggers, hello neighbor. They have an axe to grind. We don't. And I said, we the PNP bloggers, we don't. We have a government, we have a country to fix.
And to run, yes.
And to run. And we have to make sure the truth surface out there like oil. And our main duty as bloggers is to safeguard the future of this country. Get the message out there where NARA is concerned. Get the message out there that the police force is doing a good job. Let us not go into the tit for tat with the PNP because they have an agenda. The agenda is to get power at all costs. We cannot go to the tit for tat with them. You cannot go with tit for tat with them. We're not going to look good. We all look stupid.
Totally agree with you. Okay, so in terms,
this looks like murder. It looks like murder.
Now here you have a senior journalist, Infomedia, providing further a viral moment. How does that help the situation?
He said, I'm going to use the operative word, looks.
Yes.
He said it looks like murder. He's not saying he's been politically correct there. Cliff, he's been politically correct there. When he say look like murder.
Well, we Infomedia is
hold on a little bit, hold on.
well, yes, well, yeah. We are
Yes, I'm back.
Yes, sir.
The operative word is looks. He said it looks like murder. I am not going to say it's not murder, but all I am saying is that we must be careful how we run with the narrative.
Yes, but let me ask you a question. Is the safest approach? You know, Infomedia, you have done something here tonight that is very important, and I think Chops Media did it also today. Jamaica has a history of not trusting the police and not trusting institutions set up to do the work of investigation. Is the safest not approach for us to look at what we have seen? We may have our opinions, but to say, okay, the police force is being transformed. There is an independent oversight body. Let us turn it over to them and see what comes of it. Whilst at the same time we provide support to the family that are obviously grieving. But how does inflaming the situation help even the grieving family and the community?
You know, I heard the member of parliament speak quietly.
Yes.
And she speaks calmly. And I was watching the video posted by the Jamaica Observer online. And the residents were listening attentively. They were not disrespectful.
Yes.
They were calm. And one of them asked how fast we're going to get the resolution. And the member of parliament responded with respect, while the gentleman who from the PNP was emphasizing that he wants justice. No, when the PNP said they want justice, are you just saying because of political expediency? Are you saying you want justice because justice to be served? The problem that we are having, we cannot come as a political representative just for political mileage. You know, let me say this to you, hello neighbor. And a friend of mine said the PNP hate Jamaica. I think they hate them own selves. When I say they hate them own selves, because they know where Jamaica is coming from.
Yes.
This is not a new thing. No. The PNP pretending like what happened in Montego Bay with that unfortunate situation is something new. Remember the Britain 7?
What happened there?
Let me tell you, in your chat, 7 young men were murdered by allegedly by Mr. Allegedly.
No, don't use the name. Don't use the name. Just say the police.
Yes, allegedly were murdered by the police. The Britain 7.
That matter actually went to court though, and they were absolved. The crawl, yeah.
Remember the crawl incident?
Yes.
So what the PNP really run with now, the PNP bloggers? I tell you before, they pretend like they are new. They pretend that the PNP are new to what is happening in this country. They are not new. We are not justifying what happened. couple of days ago. We're not justifying that, but we are saying
that we have had problems like this for decades.
Before we have problems and more worse than this.
And yes, and the fact of the matter is that we must not undermine or under imagine here the progress we have made.
But the worst part of it, hello neighbor, the same persons that were allegedly in that 7, they were free.
Yes.
They were free.
You mean the matter went to court?
And they were free.
Yes.
So I am trying to understand the narrative that the PNP is coming with. Up to now, the People's National Party don't come out and said, Dr. Blake, you're doing a wonderful job. Despite some of your challenges, if we come to power, we will not change anything.
That is correct.
All we want to do is to build on your achievement, and that's where Aquarius good night. That's where the PNP is falling short.
And on a matter like security infomedia, there ought not to be a political divide.
That's why I said Mark Golden should have come out and said if he didn't want to be that change, you see, Elo Neighbour told you the other night that the People's National Party don't understand the new Jamaica. They don't understand the new Jamaica. This is a perfect opportunity again for Mark Golden to come out and say, look, let us not politicize this.
Correct.
Because we are enjoying good policing in this country.
Because,
and it's so unfortunate.
Yes.
Let us not politicize it and call upon his political operative. The man keeps silent because he thinks it is the right way to get power. He still not understand. He still not read the room. He's still not reading the political room, hello neighbor. The leader of opposition still not reading the political room in Jamaica. He's missing the perfect opportunity to come out and say, look here, I want no one to bash the police. I want no one in a part of my surrounding to come and say anything. Allow the law to take its course because Jamaica is enjoying a good policing for a very long while. I am not going to be biased. It takes a man to acknowledge the good work of the police force. And I think the PNP is so hungry for power, anything to climb the ladder of power, they will step on this country or even damage the fabric to become the government. Hello, neighbor.
Yes. Yes, sir.
So we have to be careful of how we go into the tit for tat with the People's National Party because they have an agenda to damage the fabric of this country just to get into power because they have a deficit, and if a deficit because even persons to be unalive tragically for them to look good to go into power, they are going to accept it. Hello, neighbor.
Wow. Crazy stuff,
based on the politics being played by the PNP operatives, is power at all cost. That's what I'm getting from them. Power at all cost. Up to now, the man who responsibility to speak on national security don't come and say, look, we're not going to run with this. This is not a political matter. But he's the same man who give the soldier immunity for that incident up in our book, you remember?
Yes.
So we have to remember the history of the PNP. They are not new. They are pretending to be new, but they are not new. The PNP government in the past presided over enough extrajudiciary killing by the same police force in the past. They have no moral authority to speak on this topic.
You're not incorrect, sir. You're not incorrect at all.
They have no moral authority to speak on no extrajudiciary killing by any policemen and women in this country because they started it. This Andrew Wellness government is trying to finish it. Like it or not, it's just the truth. So when I hear such people may calling name or run with it, because let me tell you about that such people you spoke about. I don't give people hype. That young mind who feels like he's a social media personally is that one, that social media person. I want to tell him, be careful and put your country first. While you're supporting a political party, ensure that when Jamaica win, you win. One of the most ungrateful things is to support a political party, and when you have an agenda and you sit back and look in yourself and you ask yourself, if that was the political movement I was supporting, be careful of what you're supporting, young man. That blogger you called him name a short while ago. Yeah. Jamaica is far from what those social media personnel think.
Yes.
This country move away from the tribal politics, and why Andrew Holness is still in government and possible going into government, the possible to fifth term, is because of the work.
Fifth term.
Work.
Yes.
Fifth term. The work is honesty, is transparency. That is one of Andrew Holness' strongest point while he's in government today. His honesty, his transparency, and the Jamaican people knows what type of politician and what type of prime minister they have. If him say the rock is black, he's going to say the rock is black. And that is the difference between Andrew Holness and the PNP. He does not sugarcoat nothing to the Jamaican people. He tell them like it is. Whether they like it, yes or no, it is what it is, and we must face it as a country. If dollar go on sugar items, he face the prime minister, he face you too. If it's a pothole in the road, he face me too, because the prime minister convoy travel this country every day, so he knows what it is out there. If he knows that the soup man on the corner put 100 up on his soup, the prime minister know, because he stop at his favorite soup spot and he have a cup of soup. So the prime minister know everything that is happening in his country. He's aware.
Yeah. Well, info.
I want to say this to the residents and the people of Montego Bay.
Yes, sir.
Move your political act, because you don't need that now.
True.
Remove your political act, because you don't need that now. If you're going to fight for justice because you want Montego Bay to remain crime-free. You don't want any politician to come and tell us that to block road and burn tires and cost the prime minister, cost the government, or cost the police force. You're not going to get in the rear, because they said, man, you're costing the police force for. I'm about to turn the gun on you tomorrow morning, because you give him that power.
Absolutely. But I have to run Infomedia. Have some other person to talk to. Take care of yourself.
Big up yourself and your followers.
No, man, Infomedia should wait, because
yes,
he should wait. People probably won't respond to him.
Okay, hold on there, info. Hold on, info. Call at the bottom, Brother P. Hello, Brother P. No, he's not there. He's gone. Okay, Lawman.
Yeah, I'm here.
Good evening to you. Good evening to you, Lawman.
Night, and thanks again.
Yeah, you wanted to talk to Info?
Yeah, Infomedia. Before I start again, condolences to the grieving family and the community, who have their relationship with the now deceased Buju. Condolence, right? Infomedia. While I support that the people need to allow the investigation to take place, people are, it is usual for our Jamaicans to protest and to ensure that the relevant bodies will come. I believe the people videoing and circulating the video that happened, right, are intended as well to get the relevant body to pay attention to this occurrence so that they can get justice. I am sorry that it is going in a political angle, but I support the people who want to go out there and peacefully demonstrate. So I don't agree with you to some extent, and I think I am really ashamed again that it's going political, because this shouldn't have anything to do with the lady's past or politics. This all should be based on the facts that we have seen in the video. So while I heard you on some fronts,
you say you don't agree with me. Where you don't agree with me in what I just said a while ago? What you don't agree with?
Should have made some notes, but while you're cussing the PMP, I believe you are also using that opportunity and the situation to politicize.
No. You're wrong. I think I want to be very honest with you. I am using an example that the PNP has no more authority to speak on any police killing in this country, because those are type of things in the past under their administration. I'm not politicizing, but politicized it. I think you misunderstood what I'm doing.
I get you, but I should have made
I am just using an example that they are not squeaky clean, because they said Minister of National Security was in power when several persons were murdered, allegedly by the police.
No government has run a country without any aggressive violence.
That's why I'm correcting you.
None of them. So it is unfair to be pointing fingers. And like my neighbor said earlier, we would think our senior journalists would be more aware and add more self-control to not cast judgment before an investigation. Because yes, it can be dangerous. But another thing, I understand that the upcoming, one of my favorite bloggers now, he's very vocal, but he has very strong points. And these questions are very valid. I prefer for you not to touch that.
We don't have strong point.
The blogger that you had in question, I mean, we don't want to name the name, but he's doing very good at highlighting some of the issues that we are suffering in Jamaica.
Let me say something to you. Let me say something about any blogger speak on this topic and say they have good issues. All of us have good issues. All of us have good issues. But, Laman, Jamaica is moving away from political rhetoric, and that's what some of us don't understand. If you are not a part of the solution, you must be a part of the problem. So if that particular person is highlighting, go back on the same person platform and ask that person tell you several things that the government has done that benefit him, and listen what he has to say. Them the people that can open their mouth and said nothing good about the government, and that's where some of them went wrong, the boss. I am not going to come here, hello neighbor, and say, Andrew, I fall milk and honey pan the sky. I'm not going to say that. I am not going to say that. But if you listen to that same blogger, sometimes you listen to some persons, you wonder if a man them praise or them love them country. I said it at all times. And everybody listen to the national anthem and catch goosebumps. And everybody listen, and everybody watch them fellow Jamaicans getting award. You don't know, or you don't ask in political affiliation who they are. For example, hello neighbor. A couple of days ago, the Prime Minister was in Turk and Caicos, and 86 policemen and 200 of them were there. That's helping the island fight crime. So what are you telling me? All of them parent support Labour Party, all of them is JLP. But guess what happened? I don't care what political affiliation they are part of or what background they come from. I am a proud Jamaican when I see my fellow Jamaican represent my country at the highest level. Some of these PMP don't see that. Once they know your political background, even if you go there and lift up a flag, I don't think Labour right a drunk for them. That's how PMP see Jamaicans. They see them politically, they don't see them as Jamaicans. Let me give you a simple example to enough of them where we are eye-opener. In 2007, when Mrs. Simpson was running against Bruce Golding, she came to a particular place, and I was there in our neighbor. And I am the first person the Prime Minister hugged. In those days, hello neighbor, you have the flip Samsung pole with the pole. The flip Samsung phone with the pole, but the camera at the front. And I take a nice picture of Mrs. Sims Miller coming towards me. And I put her on the screen for my screensaver. And I was at the last conference too, before the election in 2007. And a Labourite asked me for a phone caller. When he flipped the phone, he said, Portia Sims Miller on the front. And he said, what trade? When he said, you're crazy. You're mad. That is the Prime Minister until Bruce Golding win on September 3rd. Me no say I have no paper. That's the Prime Minister on my phone. You know what I said? I was at a JP conference with Portia Sims Miller as my wallpaper and my phone, and a Labour saying, what show it? Me said, just like how you throw the phone at some, you throw you after. Because she's the Prime Minister until she loses on September 3rd in 2007. Or 2006, 2007. So this is the difference between us, the Jamaicans who support a political movement, and the PNP. The PNP are cultism party. They don't believe in the country. They believe in orange. And Lawman, they better get that. PNP put PNP first, PNP second, and PNP third, and Jamaica last. Challenge me upon that. And that's the problem the People's National Party having, because this country is moving away from the tribalistic politics. Is what you do for me and your country, that's why you remain in government. And that's why Andrew Wallace is remaining in government today, and it shall remain for a very long while, because that Prime Minister is very patriotic to his country, not any one individual. While he balance his political life, he must balance the duty of the Prime Minister of this country. And that is what the PNP have a hard task to understand. Oh, Andrew, not so political bias. So when you hear you talking about blagger, to hell with them. They're full of shit like a crab.
Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. Oh.
And that's the truth, hello, neighbor. Some of them have no moral authority to speak at no political topic because they have no patriotism towards the country. Because anything they say in their WhatsApp group, if you come out, come black, that the narrative they sell. So if the PNP PR say, okay, we're not going to go chat about Andrews in buy a house, it them spread for you all week. They never come out and say, let us look at the Naira bill.
Yes.
Even though I don't like that one, I think those 7 work in favor of the country. Even though I don't like Section 47, Section 48 make up for it, we can't work with the Naira bill. We can't work with it. Even though I don't, you understand? You never hear them stuff. You never hear them stuff here. The Naira bill can't work, and she will take it for himself, a corruption, then everything in the Naira bad stuff.
When you say them a crab? When you say them full of crab?
They're full of shit like a crab.
Oh gosh, no sir.
You never hear them come up and say,
Infomedia, question for you.
yes.
Do you think it became prime political because the current government, right, the JLP, because the Prime Minister said, meet at Georgia or meet Jamaica? Do you think that is why it has become political?
Let me tell you something. When I heard the Prime Minister say that, I scratched my head because that's a bold move. It don't have any political color on it. Because the 8 people that were murdered at Churchill Lane, maybe are 8 PNP. So that's a bold move by the Prime Minister. It's a bold statement. That's a patriotic statement. Because guess what happened? The barbaric behavior of these wicked men who have the gun illegally and carrying out this act. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Because if they are driving fear into the hearts of us, the law-abiding citizens, hello neighbor, what do you want the Prime Minister to do? Come and say, Jesus Christ, let us go and call the nation for prayer. Let us call the nation for prayer. In China, they shoot. In China, when God, I want to teach him something. When God, in China, if they hold it with drugs and you commit a crime, you put in front of the firing squad in the market in Beijing. Any crime you're doing in China, Xi Jinping ensure that the nation watch you, pay your penalty.
Yes.
So what are you telling me about? Me Jamaica is a right statement.
No, I don't disagree. I'm saying a lot of since the conversation went political, I am trying to find or identify how politics entered the room.
Let me say something to you. Let me say something.
Most people is saying a JLP because the Prime Minister said me Jamaica. I'm just asking you to educate the public. I'm not saying nothing is right.
I can't educate them. I can't always say it in my own terms. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. Hello, neighbor.
Yes.
The statement from the Prime Minister, the chief servant of this country, the Minister of Defense in this country, is the right statement, is the appropriate statement at the right place, at the right time to ensure that the criminal knows that this Prime Minister is not going to compromise. We compromise too much in this country. We talk about let the law take its course and we come out with pretty. At this juncture in our life, there's nothing to pretty up where murder is concerned in this country, hello neighbor. And the Prime Minister must have been put on his foot at some point in time to ensure that the criminal in this country,
and it has borne fruit.
It has borne more than fruit because he's serious behind it.
Yes.
So when I hear certain people come and talk about, Lord God, the anti-wellness and the police, I want to tell you something. For those who don't remember where Jamaica is coming from. Police usually go out the road with two ticket book, one for sweetheart and one for government. And when they feel like he left a sweetheart one and care one for and left a government one. You never know that, neighbor?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
And people usually get them bill when they have their money. Once you have your money, you find the superintendent and the arresting officer, and you pay your money, you're gone. Judge no see you. No matter what crime you commit, judge no see you.
My God.
That is the type of corruption this Prime Minister spent $4 billion fighting for the last 10 years with the police force. And through one incident now, we must come out and crucify them. I am not going to crucify the police, and I'm not going to say it's wrong. I am not going to say Kevin Blake, who shows competence and biasness when it comes to us police and carrying out their duty.
Yes.
So rest assured, I think Dr. Kevin Blake have this one under control, and the nation and the country will hear what comes out of this. It's so unfortunate the young lady lost her life. Nobody wants to celebrate that.
That's true.
But the country business must go on. The country business must go on. The police must carry out their duty continuously.
Yes.
We must support them. We cannot run from them now because of what certain bloggers have said about them or have said about the government. Because when the PNP was in power, they did nothing to stop fight. They did nothing to stop the crime, this country from becoming the #1 capital in the world where murder is concerned. They did nothing.
More than 30,000 people were unalived in Jamaica over that period, sir.
So what are you telling me now? So one blogger come and talk about the one killing. Listen, if that blogger is going to reason and want some credibility, he has to start from the top. And the top is where the PNP left off and what the Prime Minister inherit in 2016. What the Prime Minister inherit where crime is concerned, it's more than alarming, hello neighbor.
Yes.
When the Prime Minister take power in 2016 and several state of emergency, people were losing their lives daily, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10. And the Prime Minister come under severe pressure to stop the bloodletting in this country. And when the bloodletting stopped, and we saw some levels of calm and peace in this country, You're telling me one incident by the police must cover the good of covered all the good the police have done. Where we don't know. Bona Blaga. Where we don't know. Where we don't know. Somehow no got this struck on around in Mike Bona past. I got the deal, don't know. As you know, up on the mouth, you know, if you pray on the God church, you know, if you blind and dim and deaf, you know, call the Father name. Because to me, some of these Christian pastors who they on social media, they feel like them did put the cash crown on God or cutting slippers or feed him with the vinegar.
You dropping word for me, sir? Oh, I tell you.
We use God for our own convenience at time when we on social media. Some of these so-called young pastors who have them platform and talk about God, I am convinced they're a part of the party who take the 30 pieces of silver, was share amongst them. And I consider, you know, I said it all the while at my platform a couple of years ago that I think PNP was a part of the Judas clan who get rid of Christ off this earth. I think the money to get rid of Christ was organized up at 89 all over. You know, the 30 pieces of silver was pulled up by the PNP. Based on how they operate.
It's a Judas clan.
It's a Judas clan. It's the only political organization of a book of betrayal. Don't laugh, it's serious.
The PNP, them a Judas, sir.
Me said it's the only political organization of a book of betrayal.
A book of betrayal.
Yes.
Oh my. Lawman, you have any more questions for Infomedia?
Yes, let him shoot the questions.
Go ahead.
No man, I just because it's a shame that politics entered the debt. I just wanted him to see if he knew why people are, you know, people are introducing politics. Because I never hear, you know, I don't know why they're doing that. I don't see the call for politics in the debt. That's all I'm saying.
If you don't see the call for politics, then you are blind to our society that we are in, especially the PNP is concerned. I'm telling you, you have a lot to learn where this society is concerned. Jamaica is transforming in front of our eyes. And the
a lot is being said daily. Forgive me if I don't see
Jamaica is transforming. Jamaica is transforming in our eyes, and the PNP knows that if Jamaica becomes an independent state, they will have a long waiting opposition to take reins of this country, my friend. So they have to politicize everything to keep their base active.
I know. I heard that our representative went up there and said that it was because the lady collected some things before, but I have not seen it, so I don't know. I don't know why it became political, and that's you know, that's all I'm really saying. But I heard
it started with a picture with the lady of one green armband.
Okay.
And the Prime Minister was beside her. And then the neighbor then make one with Mark Golding. And the one, but you see, I am not in for the tit for tat. I am here to safeguard the policemen and women lives. The people go shoot them when they got car wash. The people go sit them on road and fling stone at the vehicle. We are safeguarding the people, them who are safeguarding for the future and with lives and with daily on the road. We must ensure that the policemen and women of this country, when they park up into their personal life, we watch over them. We ensure
I said on this platform earlier that I commend the JCF earlier. They are constantly recruiting. You see their presence on the road daily more and more, and that is the first start of controlling
I choose my platform I choose my platform very carefully that I speak on. Hello Neighbour is one such platform. I will give my support at any time. And just now, when Hello Neighbour just started out, I told him that be careful of what you run here. Because the same person who come and ring bell with you, the same person who will tear down.
Yes.
I choose carefully. Because I'm not into I am not a Google seller blowing labor right. Me no go blow up, me no go ring bell and blow Google seller and make noise and say shower. No, I'm not that type of labor right. I am not that type of labor right. I'm going to make it clear to all who don't know that I am not that type of labor right. And when I hear foolishness, I don't support foolishness because we have a good thing going on. We have a good thing going on. And I have to support the police at all costs. And I am not going to throw the shooter into dungeon. And I am not going to say the young lady is a criminal because I have no knowledge of that. I am not a part of that. And I am warning both sides of the fence. If you don't love Jamaica, be careful and allow Dr. Kevin Blake and his team to do what is right in the interest of this country. No time for politicking. Because Mark Golden, time come for him in the PNP. And that's Neighbour, me not say nothing. I have that scoop, but I cannot say it now. Time come for Mark Golden in the PNP.
Yes.
It's only a matter of time for you to hear breaking news. Remember, I said it here.
Even not this 9th hour?
It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time.
Yes.
So we don't want anybody to twist the narrative. Mark Golden know that a whole heap of axe over my head. He knows that an axe over my head. A whole heap of axe over my head. So staying relevant, you have to come and spew the political garbage.
Lots of that coming out of them, I can tell you.
Mm-hmm. So Lama, nice talking to you, sir. And I hope you read a lot and go back into the 90s so you can have a proper conversation with anybody attack you.
Awesome, thank you.
Good. Bless yourself, Caroline, big up on us. Oh, no, buy me compare. You don't know something. I don't even big up yourself, Caroline.
Big up yourself. Big up yourself. Big up yourself. All right. I don't know what I'm hearing that that Golden walked out of the parliament earlier. But let us take a little bit from the parliament. Let's go down to parliament where we will find. Do you have the minister there for me, Shafreen? Or you want me to play him?
I do.
The minister.
I have it. Yeah.
So,
yes, I do. So I'm just going to share it right now.
Okay. All right. We're going to take Minister Charles. Minister Charles made his sectorial presentation in the parliament earlier. We'll take a little bit of that. I'm hearing that the opposition walked out of the parliament earlier. I'm not so sure why. We're checking that for you to figure out what happened, why they walked out. But hold on there. Let me get the Prime Minister. Hold on, Shafreen. Hold on to that. Hold on to the minister there for me. Let me pick up the Prime Minister. Checking that for you.
Pick them up.
Jesus said, pick up the fragments.
Pick them up.
Pick up the fragments.
To his family,
Hold on.
Some people are like
it is the loss of a father, relative, friend, and companion whose absence will be deeply felt in many ways that public tributes will not adequately capture. On behalf of the government of Jamaica, I extend sincere condolences to the family of Leslie Campbell. We pray that they will find strength and comfort during this period of grief and reflection. May we all be reminded that beyond the debates of politics and the contests of public life, we are ultimately fellow servants of the Jamaican people, each contributing in our own way to the ongoing project of nation building. Mr. Speaker, we seem to be doing these tributes more often these days. It may be a reflection of the changing of the guards. And Mr. Speaker, as we all serve, it is important that we document.
All right.
And he was kind.
They're taking tributes to Leslie Campbell. Let's see if we can
Humble, accessible.
And Leslie was a friend to all of.
Okay. So we didn't get that the moment when they walked out, but I think that we could cue that up. Shafreen, if you could if you could cue that up a little bit for me, and let me understand what happened, why they walked out. Give me the minister presentation. You have it there, Shafreen? Minister Charles? You have Minister Charles?
Yes, he's on.
May his soul rest in peace.
Okay, I'm not getting any audio from YouTube. Not getting any audio from YouTube.
Sorry, are you not getting any audio from the video?
No, I'm not getting any audio.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna take it from my end. Let me go.
Jamaican workers.
Or keep him up on screen.
Mr. Speaker, I want to move to the BPO sector. It remains one of Jamaica's most important employment industries. But long-term competitiveness requires much more than expansion alone. It requires healthy workplaces, worker well-being, and responsible labor practices. The ministry will therefore establish the SAFE Task Force: standards, accountability, and fairness in employment. This will strengthen worker engagement, provide labor rights sensitization, workplace wellness, and compliance support within the sector. Labor rights. The SAFE Task Labor rights sensitization. The SAFE Task Force, Mr. Speaker, this task force that we're calling SAFE, Standards, Accountability, and Fairness in Employment, will support strengthen worker engagement. Mr. Speaker, this is a real issue. So many persons in the BPO industry are calling us. They call you. That issues. We now want to confront them head on and be proactive. So this task force will strengthen worker engagement. It will provide wellness initiatives, sensitization, and it's not about being punitive. It's about being proactive and collaborative. So we will undertake to work with the BPOs and the employers to meet the concerns and to have collaborative policy attention and improvement. Additionally, we also intend to introduce the MLSS Decent Work Partnership Program for recognition aimed at encouraging and motivating strong labor and workplace practices within the BPO sector as well as other employment industries. So we want the private sector to know that we are here to work with you. We are here to support you, to help you, so that you can expand. But it is important to make sure that as you expand, the workers are productive, they are safe, and their well-being is priority. Mr. Speaker, worker safety must remain central to national development. And so I move quickly to the Occupational Safety and Health Department. We have conducted more than 1,208 safety inspections and investigated 80 industrial accidents in the last year. Mr. Speaker, these inspections and investigations are not just regulatory exercises, they are life-saving interventions. Let's get that right. Over the past 6 years, Jamaica has seen a clear and encouraging decline in fatal industrial accidents. In 2024, Jamaica recorded no fatal industrial accident. In 2025, we had 2, but we're moving down. Even one death is one too many. But the trend demonstrates that when employers, workers, and regulators treat safety as a shared responsibility, lives can be saved. Mr. Speaker, as national reconstruction accelerates, as we invest in post-hurricane minister development, safety cannot be treated as an afterthought. It must be built into the way we work, the way we rebuild, and the way we protect the people helping to restore Jamaica. That is why, Mr. Speaker, the Occupational Safety and Health Department will develop a comprehensive risk management toolkit aimed at strengthening workplace safety practices across Jamaica. This toolkit will provide employers, workers, safety professionals, micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, all with practical resources to help you to identify high-risk workplace hazards, to strengthen safer work practices, and to reduce serious injuries and fatalities. Mr. Speaker,
Hello.
we have also had a very close partnership
Hello.
with the Office of the Parliamentary Council, and we have now arrived at a settled draft of the bill. As well as consultations with the relevant ministries, departments, and agencies that are primarily concluded. Our aim.
All right. So that's the Labour Minister making his presentation in the sectoral debate today. One of the things that I saw in Parliament today, by the way, is the opposition spokesman. Shafrin, do you have the opposition's walkout? If you could cue that up for me, Mr. Wavell Hines. Mr. Wavell Hines was making his presentation in the sectoral debate today. How did Mr. Hines get in the Parliament? I mean, Mr. Hines, that's a Wavell Hines, really struggling to read that presentation. I'll have a little bit more of that for you. Shafrin, you could cue that up for me. In the meantime, moderator, if we have any calls, we could take that. We could take that in the meantime. If you want to come up, you could send a request and we'll take that as we try to figure out what happened over there in the Parliament today. Good evening, caller. Good evening. Hello. Good evening, sir. Good evening. Hello.
Yes, I'd like to speak to Neighbour.
You are on the show, sir. Go right ahead.
Yeah. Good night to you and all. Just want to say, Intramedia spoke very well.
Yes.
And the thing he said was wrong. The statement that the Prime Minister made was indeed a very bold and patriotic one, because in it he laid out two choices for criminal gunmen in this country, right? Turn in yourself if you know you're involved in criminality, especially gun criminality. You have the option of turning in yourself to face justice. And if not, that means you are willing to challenge the law-abiding citizens in this country.
Yes.
The question is, how many of them are turning in themselves?
Well, he said, face your judge.
Yes. So that means you're turning, make the choice. You have the option of turning in yourselves to face the justice system, to face the judge, and let justice prevail based on the evidence, right? Now, does Jamaica have criminal gangs and criminal gunmen? Yes, we do.
Yes.
How many of them have been turning in themselves?
None of them, sir.
None of them. So what is that saying? They prefer the other option.
You know the words they want to meet their maker.
Then what else would it mean? What else would it be? Because you're engaged in serious criminal activity. What purpose is having a gun, Neighbour? What purpose is a gun doing in the hands of somebody
To commit a crime, sir.
It cannot be used for farming. You cannot use it on paint. a gun serves only one purpose, you know, which is to kill. It serves no other purpose. So, in the hands of somebody outside of authority or an illegal or a legal firearm holder, what purpose is a gun doing in the hands of somebody who is not authorized to have it, other than to create mischief and mayhem?
Yes, sir.
So, the Prime Minister should, what I wish he would do is come out and double down on that statement.
You want him to say it again?
No, but he should clarify to make it know that he's staking his premiership on making Jamaica safe and peaceful. You see, we can't have it both ways in the neighbor.
Yes.
We cannot have it both ways.
By the way, where you calling from? Where you calling from, sir?
I'm here in Jamaica.
You're in Jamaica.
Right.
You don't have a TikTok. Hold on. You don't have a TikTok account?
I do not. No.
Oh, all right. Go ahead.
No. So, this is what I'm saying. We cannot have it both ways. A couple of years ago, Jamaica was known as the murder capital of the world. You mentioned earlier on that 30,000 people died over that period. That's like a country having a civil war.
Yes, sir.
That's like a country having a civil war based upon ideological differences. But only in Jamaica, it is not. It is all criminally driven. And this is the way we're supposed to go on in perpetuity. Well, I am happy that this government, under this Prime Minister, has staked his claim on where he wants Jamaica to be. Because for far too long, this crime and violence has cost Jamaica too much in terms of productivity and growth. If your country is not peaceful, nothing can happen. What sense does it have? What purpose does it serve for you to be educated if you cannot enjoy that education by going about your lawful life in peace and safety? Why is it that so many Jamaicans have fled Jamaica?
Yes.
You look at the periods in this country since independence where Jamaicans have fled. I'm not going to use the word migrate. Jamaicans literally fled this country.
They run away from the country, sir.
Because of the insecurity in the 70s and in the 90s. Right? The country, the police officers must be allowed. In the 90s and the 70s and the 80s, New York City was a very violent and lawless place.
Yes, sir. You remember what former mayor what is his name? Giuliani, yeah?
Giuliani came in, and you know what turned around that problem in New York? He took a zero tolerance approach on unlawful behavior. Spitting on the road. Those little minor things, because it's those little things that people see as minor that left unattended, they grow into something much bigger.
Yes, sir.
Right? So, Mayor Giuliani took a zero tolerance approach to crime and unlawfulness in New York City. Many New Yorkers didn't like his approach. It was too
draconian.
It was too in your face, too aggressive.
Yeah, a draconian.
Are they saying that now? New York being one of the most peaceful cities in the United States. Right? Look, again, nobody's supporting what happened to Miss Bulgin. It's unfortunate. It is unfortunate. But let the investigation may be completed and the chips fall where they may. Right? But we have to get back to a place where in Jamaica we respect the police officers. They are the last stance against criminality in this country.
That's true.
Somebody breaks into our house and violates us, who do we call?
The police, sir.
Who do we call?
Yes.
Right? So I support Commissioner Blake, and I implore him and I encourage him to continue to carry out their duties lawfully, right? In bringing this country to a level where we can enjoy it in peace and safety.
Yes.
You know, our memories seems to be very shabby when it comes on to this issue, Neighbour. Many years ago, you might not remember, I remember, where several weeks we were told you just get a bulletin, you have to leave now because criminal elements are going at it in a particular community, right? School had to be closed down or let off, early education disrupted, business disrupted because no workers would have to leave because of the insecurity, traffic snarling for miles because you cannot traverse a particular area to avoid the violence. When last have we heard that? When last have we seen any of that?
Yes, sir. Things have really shifted in a positive direction.
Because the work of the police have put those criminal elements on their back. No longer are they emboldened to do what they want to do, when they want to do, and how they want to do it. They can, but they're going to be challenged this time around.
You're quite right.
Right? So, again, the politicizing of this issue, unfortunate. But we must not let this one issue dissuade the good men and women of the JCS, right, from carrying out their duties lawfully in bringing this country to a place of peace and safety where we can enjoy it, where we don't want to flee and go to a next man country that doesn't want us there. Right? So, to all the well-thinking Jamaicans, to all the patriotic Jamaicans, continue to support the police. And I say to all the criminal elements, you them, put down the gun. Put down the gun, it's only going to bring you destruction. Right? If not from other criminal elements, you might get tossed up with the police. Right? Put down the gun and go and find something constructive to do because you have been lied to. That life is a life that is only going to lead you to destruction. Right? Go and work productively and raise your family. Go enjoy your daughter and enjoy your son, enjoy your wife, and put down the gun. Right? We see what it has done. It has only brought destruction to those who have taken part in it. Right? Right? Put down the gun. I don't hear the journalists them saying that. I hear them say police this and police that. I don't hear nobody saying, not even the councillor, say the councillor even admitted that the youth had a gun. Right? I don't hear coming from no quarter saying the youth them need to put down the gun. Put down the gun. Don't pick it up. Right? Put it down. Right? So, again, let us encourage the citizens when they come in contact with the police officers, right, to follow instructions, right? Don't escalate, de-escalate, so that both parties can move away safe, alive, and healthy.
Well, I thank you for calling, sir.
All right, take care, sir.
Very good intervention. I appreciate it. Great. So let's listen to a little bit of what happened down at Parliament today. Listen.
I see a member also has a intervention.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is an inconsistency because in the background to this is that there was considerable controversy toing and froing for a long time on delays in the tabling of reports coming to Parliament from the Auditor General and the Integrity Commission. That culminated in the Speaker, I think on November 11th, 2023, issuing her position on that matter. And I'm going to read from that. I quote, reports of the Director of Investigation submitted under Section 54, subsection 4, and that's of the Integrity Commission Act, will be tabled as soon as possible after receipt by the Parliament, having regard to the serious nature of the matters that are contained therein. It will be requiring the immediate and direct attention of the House. After it is tabled, it will then be submitted to the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee for their consideration and report. And I add in parentheses, at that point it would be a public document that the media, the whole of Jamaica, and all parliamentarians would have had the benefit of being able to see. I continue. Kindly note All reports from the Integrity Commission will be reviewed by the officers before they're tabled, and it will be tabled in the soonest possible time. No effort will be made to delay such reports. End of quote. That was the Speaker's ruling. This report concerning the Firearms Licensing Authority, a public body that has most serious statutory functions, came to this House on March 30, 2026. The cover letter from the Integrity Commission said that the report contains serious matters concerning governance, maladministration, corruption, etc. We are now in mid-May, and that report has not been tabled today. Reports that came to Parliament on Thursday last week, 4 of them, about relatively junior public servants who didn't comply with their statutory declaration filing deadlines. Those have been tabled today. But a more serious report has not been. Parliament is allegedly says because the FLA brought proceedings in court, that is relevant to this decision. But in the Ian Hales matter, the court definitively said that the tabling of reports or any other document in Parliament is a matter which is immune from any kind of jurisdiction of the court. And there's no court order, and there could not properly be any court order affecting the tabling of this report. So this is a more serious matter. We are sure that that report contains very serious matters that the public, the opposition, the media has a right to see and wants to see. And yet we see it being suppressed by the delay in tabling it. And that is untenable. The whole purpose and objective of the Integrity Commission Act is thwarted and undermined if the work of the Integrity Commission, its investigative work culminating in its reports, are sent to Parliament and are not tabled on a timely basis. This is affecting the democracy of the country, the governance of the country, and the public have a right to see it. And we demand that it be tabled today.
Mr. Speaker, the opposition's characterizations are most unfortunate for somebody who holds his office. There is absolutely no suppression, there is absolutely no undermining, and there's absolutely no infringement on our democracy. And I will indicate why quite clearly. As the opposition leader indicated, the Speaker has said that the report, any report, will be tabled at the earliest possible time after a review is done. It is clear, as was done in the Ian Hales' matter, which treated with a member of the opposition, where the matter was brought before the court, that report was not tabled by this Parliament until that matter was resolved. Why was that the case? That is the case because the standing orders make it extremely clear that where there are matters under 16G5 that are likely to prejudice a case, 6G5, that are likely to prejudice a case which is under trial, and under 35(2), any matter on which a judicial decision is pending, then we are not to treat with that matter or we prejudice the matter. It would make no sense that this Parliament would do something as learned King's Counsel said. It would make no sense that this Parliament would do something that would then take away the power from another arm of government, right? So the leader of the opposition is quite aware that this is how we proceeded with Member Hales. This is nothing new. This is no suppression. If it was good at that time for him and no issue was raised by the opposition in 2017 when this government, I say it again, and the member from Eastern Westmoreland waxed eloquently earlier about hypocrisy. In 2017, no issue was raised by the opposition when the matter involving Member Hales when that report was not tabled by this Parliament. The right decision was made then. That decision is being made now, and I ask that we proceed to public business. And another thing, there is no, we have spoke on this matter, but you have been kind, Speaker, but there is no debate on this matter. This is not an opportunity. This is not how, if a debate is to be had, the leader of the opposition will have to move an appropriate motion, right? We have the leader of government, the leader of opposition business has intervened. The leader of the opposition has intervened. The government has responded. This is not a space for a debate.
All right.
On a point of order, the leader of government business in the House is misleading the House on this matter, and it must be corrected. The question of Ian Hale's case is very relevant. The final ruling, the only substantive ruling in that case, was a reasoned and written judgment. And the court ruled that the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate would have been acting intra vires, in other words, within their powers, by tabling the report submitted by the OCG, as it then was. Their actions would be categorized as Parliament conducting their internal affairs, and as such, their actions would be immune to the jurisdiction of the court. I find that the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate were improperly joined to the application for leave as interested parties. It is abundantly clear that a public body like the FLA should not be able to throw a cloak of secrecy
Member.
My point of order.
You rose on a point of order, but you're making a presentation.
Yeah,
no member.
I'm
That
completing my point.
No member that cannot be allowed.
I'm completing my point.
No member that cannot be allowed. You're making a presentation. You would have raised your point of order to the point. Now you're making a presentation. So we're not going to allow that.
I'm responding to the point of order. I'm responding to the point of order. I am responding to the point of order. What the leader of the opposition has said is that the court has indicated that it is in the purview of the Parliament. That is what the court has indicated. The court has not said that you must table. The court has said that the Parliament has the right to decide. And I'm saying the Parliament decided that where the matter is before the court, as per the standing orders, if you were to prejudice that matter, then we will leave it alone. It's as simple as that.
We are not going to entertain a debate. It's not a matter of debate.
All right.
I don't wish to do that because it is going to open the floodgate for others to ask questions. No, I am not convinced, member. Member, I am not convinced. At this time, I am not convinced.
Well,
I am not convinced. I am not convinced, member.
Well, I think at this point they have decided to leave.
Bills brought by the Senate.
They're gone.
Petitions, papers, report from committees, notice of motion given orally, question and answers to questions, motion that may be made at the commencement of public business requiring notices, motion relating to the sitting of the House, motion for leave to introduce bills, presentation of bills without leave of the House first up.
Well, there you have it. The FLA report that was tabled by the Integrity Commission, the opposition is asking for that to be tabled. The government is citing that it would not be appropriate to table because the matter remains before the court, and the opposition leader say it's a sham, and he walked out of the parliament, and eventually the rest of his colleagues have also walked out. So another walk out by the opposition. Of course, that's going to have to take. We have to take that on tomorrow. But I tell you, every Tuesday, the parliament is becoming more and more a place of controversy. Obstructionist Golden and his gang continues to seek headlines. What is this about now? I don't even know. Why can't they sit in the parliament and debate what needs to be debated rather than walking out? Very, very interesting development down in the parliament today. Good evening to you, caller. Hello. Caller, good evening. All right. Who do we have now? 12 minutes to 10 o'clock. 12 minutes to 10 o'clock. We have let's see who we have. If you need to have your say, we got a little bit of time. You could I don't know what's happening here because we have so many people over on my end. Moderator, what's happening? None of these people are on your end?
No, neighbor.
Well, I wonder why. I have almost 20 up here. Let me see. That's the person there. We have him. Good evening. Hello. All right. Hello. I don't. That person is ready. What about Hero Boss? No, you're not there, Hero. All right. Let's do that. Honeybee, hi. Good night to you.
I didn't get to watch the parliament today, so thank you so much for that. I really wanted to say this because while I was scrolling a bit on TikTok earlier today, I saw the difference of opinions from others, and everybody seemed to be clicking alive and doing their own thing. And I'm saying, whatever was our life before this incident is not our business. That's not the issue here. The issue here, a life has been lost, and no matter how we look at it, a life is also being altered because this policeman, we got whatever the outcome, he has to be. It's going to change his life forever. Doesn't matter what.
Yes.
Our behavior and the misconception that they're putting out online are putting a target on the police that have to man these streets. It's literally putting a target on the back. You know what I mean? And we need to be careful of this because on the road, I can tell you, the street is a bit more safer than it used to be. My son has been attacked twice coming home by armed thugs, twice robbed before now.
Yes.
And I can tell you, it is much safer now, especially in the Alpha Tree, New Kingston, and those business areas. It's a bit much safer for even the young people coming home from university and stuff like that.
What about you? Do you feel safer, ma'am?
I do. Definitely, because when I go for my walk in the morning, I normally see police patrol.
Yes.
Sometimes, see them pass by. Sometimes they stop and they said, sometimes they would run a joke and said, you could invite me to walk with you. And I said, just park up and come along, man. You're welcome. And even when I walk up on Queen Hill, there's always police patrolling because they used to have a lot of robberies happening up there while people walking in the mornings. So I'm saying we have to be thankful of where Jamaica is now, looking back to where it's coming from.
Yes.
And I'm saying that we cannot lose sight of where we are just because of one incident. Because when the police is the defense between we and the criminals, neighbor, who do we call if there is no police force? Not that there is not things, there's a lot to be done, but we are coming from far, neighbor, and we have to be thankful because it didn't happen overnight. Things take time, and the country have to use the resource or in many different areas. So therefore we have to be mindful and to be careful, like, and understand, because people have to understand when you make a statement online, sometimes people don't listen. They hear what they want to, because when you see the thing that was put out on Nationwide, it did say it looks like murder, but a lot of people don't hear the look like, neighbor. All they hear is murder. So we have to be careful of our pronouncement, and that's where the problem is.
Yes. We have music freak on YouTube saying, once again Mark Golding decided to throw one of his rich spoiled colonizer tantrums. This is what his idea of leadership looks like. Running when challenges come. He is taking a page out of the American president playbook. Music free. It's a colonizer tantrum.
He feels so entitled. He is a spoiled man. He has an entitled syndrome, neighbor, where he feels like he must get his way, and it's his way or no way. And that's the persona he has from the day that this man become the leader of the opposition. This is his behavior.
A colonizer tantrum?
Yes. He feel entitled.
Wow.
He wants the parliament to bend to his will. It doesn't matter how, but as long as he gets his way, that's what he wants. And there is rules, and that's where we have the breakdown into saying.
You think he will come back, ma'am? You think he will come back, having walked out? You think he may come back?
Neighbor, honestly, I don't really expect much from Mark Golding, to be honest. He has yet to show me anything positive about himself. So no, I'm not. I don't really. For me, we need opposition, but we need a viable opposition, and he's not one. So
I wonder if he's going to come back, ma'am.
For me, it's neither here nor there.
You don't think so?
No. He's throwing a tantrum because that's what he do best, because he feel it works in his favor, and then his people can come out and say they are this. And you know the good thing of what I like today though, I like that it was not Mrs. Holness there today, and they still did what was supposed to be done, because you know the Jamaican people quick to jump on Mrs. Holness back. And I want to tell them this woman was duly elected. She went to the polls and she was elected 3 times by the people. She's supposed to be there. She earned her space.
Yes, we're running out of time though, Honeybee. You joined late. Let's move on to Dimple.
I was here from the beginning. I was here.
Well, you got added late. Hello, Dimple. Dimple? No, I don't get Dimple. Okay. My goodness. I wonder where Dimple is. Let's see if we can get into let's scratch a command close us out, no? It's 10 o'clock here in Jamaica. Well, it's almost 3 minutes to 10 o'clock. Let's give Scratchy 10 minutes though. Hello, Scratchy.
Blessed night, neighbor.
Scratchy.
Caroline and go
Scratchy. The Integrity Commission tabled the FLA report to the Parliament. The House leader is saying there is a process to be followed to table this report. Mark Golden said the report have a table today, and it not table today. Him not staying in the Parliament, and he left the Parliament. What's happening to Mark Golden? What's happening to Mark Golden? Yeah, what type of leadership is Mark Golden giving to the Parliament, man?
We have seen this style from Mark Golden neighbor ever since he has become opposition leader neighbor. Mark Golden definitely go down as opposition leader neighbor that has walked out of Parliament the most with his team members. I mean, that definitely neighbor based on the salary neighbor that we are paying to these people neighbor. These people should come and do the nation business. This walking out thing when them walk out of Parliament neighbor is something very serious. And Mark Golden was the House leader, the speaker, the deputy speaker at the time was governing the Parliament at the time neighbor to break House rules and principles neighbor for his behalf to please his own personal agenda neighbor. It goes to show you neighbor the type of leadership style and leadership quality that Mark Golden is carrying to our Parliament. And this is not nothing new that we have seen neighbor. Mark has done this on more than one occasion. I don't know what he expects to gain. But as I often say neighbor, Mark Golden them can break the moral laws neighbor because there's no one to hold them morally responsible for anything that these guys do, you know. The moral police in Jamaica is one-sided. The moral police only see things neighbor that only things that the governing party does offend these so-called moral police, huh? So when Mark Jefferson Golden neighbor and his team carry out any form of these acts neighbor in terms of taking yourself away from carrying out the nation business, we pay these guys a very handsome salary every month or every year, you know, to make sure that they sit in the Parliament for a certain period of time each year to carry out our business on our behalf. And for you to have an opposition leader who continuously removing himself or walking away from Parliament whenever he doesn't get what he or her, what he desire, it's a total disregard neighbor for our governance structure and our system neighbor and persons who voted these guys in to lobby on our behalf and carry out our best interests at heart neighbor. The opposition do have our best interests at heart. We have said that before neighbor. Mark Jefferson Golden neighbor is a man where he only see what he wants to see neighbor. He's here to serve his best interests and not Jamaica's best interests at heart. And that is why I think as an opposition leader who in such a short period of time neighbor, I wouldn't surprise if he hold the record neighbor as leaving the Parliament for the most, you know. He's very hypocritical man neighbor. The leadership style that we have seen from Mark Golden is one of flip-flopping. It's one of being a hypocrite neighbor, standing in the Parliament and agreeing to Juliet Owens at the time being Speaker of the House, then come a couple months after, voicing his objection to it again. And we've seen him done it on many occasions neighbor. A man again neighbor who doesn't turn up to national events. You know, we've seen him done it on more than one occasion. A man who whenever he turns up to national events neighbor, he's very careful. Jamaica national colours are black, gold and green. And this guy always tries to disregard the green in no matter what colour he's wearing neighbor to because it was to show you neighbor how small-minded our opposition leader is neighbor. And when you look at even come to something latest neighbor, when you look at even the press conference that they are keeping and talking about the government only spending 1.8% of that $1.4 billion neighbor over a 7-month period or a 6-month period neighbor. I don't see anything wrong with it neighbor because by Mark Golden own words neighbor, someone who I characterize neighbor as being Garfield neighbor. If you go by Garfield own words neighbor, it was about a month ago neighbor or so, or two, that would lead to about 6 or 4 months neighbor. After Hurricane Melissa neighbor, the PNP only managed to spend $3.5 million within that 6 months neighbor. So if you should compare the government now and the government managing to spend $20 million, it showed that the government was way ahead of them. Same way.
Yes.
Mark Jefferson Golden neighbor, they need to stop because same way like how it took you so long to spend $3.8 million. I don't see why you should now come and complain about the government taking that amount of time to spending $28 million. And not just that $28 million, $67 billion in total was spent.
Yes.
Just $28 billion from that particular fund. You know, while it took you 6 months to spend 3.5. So I don't understand why the PNP complain about a lot of things that I hear them come out and complain about sometimes, neighbor. I think these guys are just a big bunch of hypocrites, you know? And it just goes to show, neighbor, that the PNP doesn't have Jamaica best regard at interest, neighbor. And Jamaicans must look deep into these things, neighbor, and look at the PNP and look at what PNP stand for. And stop let these guys distract us or try to derail us, neighbor, from advancing and reaching to our true potential.
No.
Neighbor got out and say, go ahead.
No, listen to this guy here in Parliament. Mr. Wavell Hines. Listen to him.
Peter, I begin today with what should have been an uncomplicated national celebration. This August, cricket fans will pack the stands at Savannah Park to welcome our brand new local franchise, the Jamaica Kingsmen. See exactly how this toxic reality plays out in the sporting world. Look no further than the shocking ruling handed down just last month on April 16 by the World Athletics. Mr. Speaker, 4 of Jamaica's absolute finest elite field event superstars, our reigning 2024 Olympic men's discus champion, Roger Stoner, our Olympic...
I don't know if you heard Mr. Hines in Parliament today, Scratchy.
No, I didn't get a chance, though. But definitely not my favorite cricketer and my favorite politician.
How did Mr. Hines get into the Parliament? Mr. Hines could... But I tell you something. Is this the man that we would put there as sports minister?
This is a problem, neighbor. Why we with Jamaica, neighbor? Now, because what we need as sports minister, neighbor, you don't necessarily have to play a sport, neighbor, to be a sport minister. What we need is someone who understands how to be an administrator, someone who understands how to be a manager, neighbor, someone who understands how to introduce policies and programs. Now, the mere fact that Mr. Hines...
I don't think Mr. Hines wrote that speech. I think that speech was written to give it... Boy, Mr. Hines... But, you know, he was nothing short of a failure as a cricketer, you know, sir.
That's the neighbor. I said that before, neighbor. Not my favorite cricketer, neighbor.
Yes.
Someone who neighbor had the opportunity to give Courtney Walsh that wicket record a very long time. You know, man, just a whole lot of catch. You know? And I guess that's why his favorite position was always feeling a silly point, you know?
Yes.
Because of how silly Mr. Hines has become. Mr. Waveline has become.
But how Mr. Hines get into the Parliament? Mr. Hines... And Mr. Hines is the opposition spokesman on Labour. You know, but let me tell you something. Oh, boy, I tell you. So, listen to Mr. Hines.
In 2026. What? The money gone in appeal. Worse yet, Mr. Speaker, look at the direct support for the people who sweat.
Well, we're gonna play a little bit more of him little later. Mr. Music. He said, just to explain further, neighbor, colonizer temper tantrum generally describes aggressive or retaliatory behavior exhibited by a dominant colonizer power, referring to his family history when faced with resistance. So the colonizer temper tantrum is when they face resistance. So what you are saying, caller, Music Free, is that Mr. Golding's psychology is built like this, that the minute he finds resistance, he gets into a temper tantrum. So Scratchy, what is being explained here is that Mr. Golding's temper tantrum is grounded in his colonized history.
Definitely.
That they don't want no black people to resist them.
I would definitely agree with neighbor with the caller, neighbor. If you notice Mr. Golding style, if you notice his style, neighbor, in the Parliament, neighbor, and even the last Nara bill, neighbor, when you were making the amendments and all, you know, his style, neighbor, how he speak, you know, it's like he's not making a suggestion. It's like he's telling you that you have to do this and you must do this. You know, look at even when he calls on the government to do certain things, neighbor, he's not coming from a position of sincerity or a position of genuine concern, you know. He always come off with that colonization style, neighbor, where you are used to getting what you want done, neighbor, or you know you believe that because of your ethnic background or whatever you might be, it commands the black persons who you see less than you to bow to whatever you say. And Mr. Golden neighbor has to change that rhetoric, neighbor. That is why you always say that he's far from our reality. It doesn't match our political culture, neighbor.
Yes.
And I think one of the worst thing that happened to the People's National Party, neighbor, was when they let Mr. Mark Jefferson Golden became the leader of the opposition party, neighbor, because if you should go back to Michael Manley, neighbor, Mark Golden doesn't possess any trait of a Michael Manley, neighbor.
Yes.
Michael Manley was seen as a smooth talker, a charisma, neighbor, and Mark Golden is definitely is none of those, neighbor. If you go back to a PJ Patterson, neighbor, PJ Patterson, despite what I was might say, neighbor, PJ Patterson was seen as a statesman, to certain level, neighbor. Mark Golden, neighbor, Chaka Mark Golden, definitely not a statesman. When you look at even a Portia similar, neighbor, Portia similar was loved for her charisma that she had for people, neighbor. Her ability, neighbor, to reach the most vulnerable and connect with them, and identify with them. Mark Jefferson Golden, neighbor, is totally no comparison to that either. So it goes to show you, neighbor, that the formation or the creation of Mark Golden, neighbor, in the PNP is something, neighbor, that is against their own philosophy. It is against their own aim, and it's also against their own mission statement, neighbor. Nothing that the PNP stand for, neighbor, or that the PNP claim to stand for, Mark Jefferson Golden, neighbor, is the total opposite of that, neighbor. The PNP love to tout themselves, neighbor, as the party that cares for the poor, the party that can identify with the common man and the poor man, neighbor. Mark Golden, again, neighbor, the total opposite of that, neighbor. He cannot identify with any common man, and he cannot care for the poor. So Mark Jefferson Golden, neighbor, what he has done, neighbor, is brought the PNP now to a level, neighbor, where if it is not your financial strength, it is going to be difficult for you to be the leader of that organization going forward. He has brought a sense of money to the table in terms of becoming leader of the People's National Party. And any future leader that the PNP will see, neighbor, it is someone who must or will have to have some type of financial strength, neighbor, because that is where Mark Golden has brought that party to, neighbor. He's brought them to their knees. He's the worst opposition leader, not just in Jamaica, neighbor, but any country who uses that style, neighbor, of having prime minister and opposition leader. Mark Golden is the worst opposition leader that any country has. Mark Golden, neighbor, is the biggest setback to the advancement and the growth of development of Jamaica, neighbor. Mark Golden has brought the Jamaican government to court on a lot of national issues. And when I say national issues, I'm talking about issues, neighbor, that had game-changing effects in them.
Yes.
To change our society. Case in point, when they talk about the NIDS, National Identification System, neighbor, there's no country in the world, neighbor, that can strive or prosper and deal with its people or reach its people true potential and needs without a national identification system.
Yes.
When you look at even the states of public emergencies, neighbor, when Jamaicans are when criminals are on their back foot and criminals are running left, right, and center because of how the government through legislation and criminals are there and they're eased with the police. Mark Jefferson Golden, neighbor, and his co-leader Peter Bunting, they went to the parliament, neighbor, and they voted against it.
Yes.
And they did not just voted against the extension of that state of emergency. They brought the government to court over that state of emergency. You know, fast forward now, when you look at constitutional reform, neighbor, is something that will basically move Jamaica from the monarch of having the king as head of state, neighbor. Constitutional reform, neighbor, also has term limits in terms of our prime minister tied up in it, neighbor. Constitutional reform is so broad and so wide, neighbor, because there's a lot of things that need to be changed once we step away from the king. And it is Mark Jefferson Golden right now, neighbor, who is holding up constitutional reform, neighbor, because he wants us to suit his own political aspirations and political will in making the CCJ our final court of appeal. And that is just so sad, neighbor, that someone who does not share the same ethnic group like me, neighbor, someone who with me you cannot readily identify with, neighbor, someone who doesn't look anything like our grandparents, someone who doesn't look anything like our fathers, someone who doesn't look anything like our brothers, someone who doesn't look anything like our fathers, neighbor, or our cousin, is responsible, neighbor, for holding back majority of us, neighbor, who are young, are seniors, neighbor. But the most important thing is that we are black. We are from the Black Star Line. We want to see the advancement and the development of our country, neighbor. We are being held back for 400 years, neighbor. as a result of persons who resemble Martin Jefferson Golden, neighbor, while we were a slave. And it is a shame, neighbor, to know that 400 years after freedom of 1838 and the abolition of slavery and emancipation and the implementation of emancipation and independence and all of those things, we have a white man right now in our parliament, neighbor, who is holding us back in terms of advancing and reaching our true goals and our true potential. But a lot of Jamaicans are not going to see it that way, neighbor, because they demonized Edward Seaga. They planted all type of script in people's brain against Mr. Seaga. They played songs saying that Mr. Seaga no born and for them need a born neighbor. And it was a grave injustice and it was hypocritical of the People's National Party to put Mark Golding on that ballot on December 3rd and September 3rd, neighbor, for Jamaicans to vote for it.
Definitely, neighbor, based on
did Mr. Seaga, neighbor. So I can say, neighbor, the PNP is nothing but a bunch of hypocrites. The PNP is nothing but a bunch of losers, neighbor. And I can guarantee you, neighbor, that with or without Mark Golding, the Jamaica Labour Party, led by Michael and Jones, who is the government, will advance this country, neighbor, will develop this country, neighbor, and Mark Golding and his 27 millions, neighbor, and his 28 surrogates that he have out there, neighbor, can't stop the prosperity trade, not at all.
Well, that is fantastic, fantastic strategy. But you're joining us late, man.
Yeah, yes, neighbor, you know, I was on the road, you know, and just kind of coming back.
Well, it's always great to hear from you. You want to give us a thought on the way things are developing over there in Montego Bay, Scratchy, with this unfortunate death of this lady. Some people here are calling it murder. I think that's premature, eh?
I mean, very unfortunate situation, neighbor. You know, this is something that we know, neighbor, that Jamaica Constabulary Force, neighbor, just like any other organization, or just like any other force around the world. Nothing of force, any other constabulary, any police federation, police organization in the world, neighbor. They are not perfect, neighbor. I live in Canada, neighbor. There are times when police officers, neighbor, are in that same position and in investigation as to the laws, neighbor, to find out whether that police is guilty or innocent of that he or she may have carried out. So
yes.
This is not something that is just unique to Jamaica alone, like it's Jamaica police alone.
Yes.
To make these mishaps. So these things happen worldwide, neighbor. So what I would definitely say, neighbor, I would definitely say, yes, my condolence to the person who lost his or her life, neighbor. But we are so neighbor, like a bus, neighbor, we have to also let justice take its course, neighbor.
Yes.
Let the course take it, neighbor, because it's a complicated situation, neighbor.
Yes.
And very complex as well. And because, neighbor, of how our police force is marred or is judged in Jamaica, neighbor, we have to make sure, neighbor, that we try to strike a balance, you know. We try to sympathize, neighbor, with the death of this young lady, neighbor. But we also try to understand from a standpoint, neighbor, that it is up to the police officer at that time, neighbor, and how that police officer felt and stuff like that. There's a lot of factors that has to be looked at, neighbor. There are a lot of things that has to do with the force order and the use of force policy.
Yes.
It's something that we call the use of force policy that the police have, neighbor. And it will be up to them, neighbor, to decide, neighbor, based on their own assessment, neighbor, whatever videotape or video evidence that they have, neighbor, to see if whether this police acted within the law, neighbor, or if he used excessive force, neighbor, in carrying out his function and analyzing this young lady, neighbor. Whatever is done after those investigations, neighbor, we just have to follow it. But going forward, I don't think it's spelled good, neighbor, for us to make premature judgments. Yes, we know the court of public opinion will always have their say, neighbor, but as responsible citizens and persons who owe some form of responsibility to the nation or any duty or some form of thing as a role model, neighbor, you make sure that you're guided and you're balanced and you're fair in your statement, neighbor, because the investigation is not concurred as yet.
Yeah. Let me ask you, Scratchy. Are we not at a place where the matter becomes so delicate based on our history? Because I think in the psychology of many Jamaicans, Scratchy, there is this notion that the police is against us. And here is the government trying to rebuild the force, but it also have to rebuild the psychology, Scratchy. the trust that citizens have in the police. Because in every country in the world, Scratchy, extrajudicial circumstances or unaliving occurs. I see in the United States the other day, there were 2 in Minnesota. Does this not suggest that as a society, we still are hurting from the ghosts of the past, where police extrajudicial incidents were so much that still has not been erased out of our minds?
Neighbor, the past, neighbor. Oh my gosh, neighbor. Sometimes we talk about the past, neighbor. The past, they always say the past is what shapes the future, neighbor.
Yeah.
But I can definitely tell you, neighbor, that Jamaica past, neighbor, is definitely affecting us.
And without cutting you, Scratchy, I don't think that this generation alive today will ever forget it. It's always going to be there.
The perception, neighbor, that the
Yes.
police force, neighbor, is a set of murderers always be there, neighbor, because we suffer a lot of things that we are suffering from right now, neighbor. A lot of resistance that the government is getting right now, neighbor. Is as a result, neighbor. of things that have
Absolutely.
come past.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The psychological effect, neighbor. The lasting psychological effect. neighbor,
Lasting,
that these things
yes.
has left. Yes, lasting psychological effect, neighbor. That these things has left on a lot of Jamaicans, neighbor. It has left Jamaica no other choice, neighbor, but to continue, neighbor, to see these things, because whenever these things happen, neighbor, there's too many persons who can relate and say that I've seen this before.
Before,
you know?
yes.
I've seen this before, neighbor. So once they've seen it before, neighbor, the reminiscence of that come now, play back on their brain now, and they tend to believe that yes, this is what, that is what, you know. And one of the main reasons
It's almost like we are condemned. And you know, Scratchy, you see them PNP, they get up and walk out of Parliament. Them are wicked, you know.
Yeah, but wicked, one of them cause the psychology.
Them are wicked, you know, Scratchy. And you know, you can't take a rubber and rub it out. You know. They have hurt Jamaica, you know, Scratchy. Because them cause this, you know. Huh?
Can't take, neighbor, it's them cause it, neighbor. The psychological effect that Jamaicans are reading, neighbor. We have a low crime rate, neighbor.
And low trust, and low trust.
People still can appreciate that.
Yes, but even in the low crime rate, we still not trust the police them.
Still don't trust the police. People
Because they were used in the past, Scratchy, to carry out extrajudicial execution, and people know it.
For political benefits and for different free and different things, neighbor. Now look what is going on now. We have a police force that has changed its image somewhat, neighbor. We have police forces doing out there.
More accountable.
Yes, more accountable is out there doing what needs to be done, neighbor. But they are picking up resistance because a man going to tell us, back in the days, police...
In family, he has been hurt by the state in the past.
Yes, our next man I tell the neighbor, say, police get too strict now. Back in the days, they could do anything and police now move so strict. So it's like, yeah, get blamed. Police is being blamed now, neighbor. I've been hated now to carrying out the functions of their job, neighbor, that they should have been doing all along, but because these things, you can't even the shutting down of dance. People don't believe in it, neighbor, because it's something that used to happen before. If I used to go dance 20 years without it being shut off. So, oh no, you come tell me about 2 o'clock. But the law wasn't being reinforced, neighbor. The law was a shock, neighbor. The high level of lawlessness that was across Jamaica, neighbor, in the 90s, about that 18 and a half years, the PNP ruled Jamaica, neighbor.
Them people, how them going to pay for all these ills on the society? Because this is about to take us 50 years, you know.
Neighbor, damn it just, neighbor. The psychological effect that 18 and a half years that was led by the PNP of Jamaica, neighbor, is hindering Jamaica's growth and prosperity, neighbor.
Because we are mentally trapped in that cycle, and we have moved on from it.
Neighbor, we are still trapped in it, neighbor. We believe that we must not work. We believe that we must hustle up on a site, don't work and go tease the material and sell them. All of these things, neighbor.
Because that is also what is holding back the Naira bill, you know. It's a low trust society because people feel say corruption about there.
Politician and thief.
Yes.
And as the Prime Minister always say, people have to believe that if it not take long, it not do good. If it not take long, it not do good, neighbor.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's the next thing what them have in them brain in Jamaica, neighbor. If it not take 40 years to build a road, it not build good. A 40 years you have to take so. Because, neighbor, the People's National Party is responsible, neighbor, for the downfall of Jamaica, neighbor. These guys are not in government, neighbor. but they have left a lasting psychological
what a death. It's like the vestiges of colonialism, the vestiges of slavery are still in Jamaica, and look how long.
Yes, neighbor, we are still reading from slavery. If you have some persons who do slavery, the shackle come off of them hand, but the shackle left on them brain. That is what the PNP have done to us, neighbor. They have damaged this country so bad, neighbor. They when they were in government, neighbor, each and every single institution that was set up, neighbor, to advance this country, neighbor, was compromised by the People's National Party, neighbor, in some way, shape, or form, neighbor. And because of our compromise, those organizations was, neighbor, to political dictatorship and political assignment and telling people what to do from a political standpoint, neighbor. It is still reminiscing in Jamaica, neighbor, and it is still affecting us to the day. Even in our schools, neighbor, our school boards, or our school boards operate, neighbor, our school boards operate from a political standpoint sometimes, neighbor. When you look at even our Medical Doctors Association of Jamaica, neighbor, these guys were given scholarship by hard-working Jamaicans, taxpayer money, neighbor. But when they come back, neighbor, with a big degree, they don't say Jamaica's got the government send them. They say PNP send them to school, neighbor. When you look at the Nurses Association of Jamaica, same thing. These nurses get scholarship, but they don't look at it and say the government of Jamaica give them our taxpayers pay that. Then says PNP send them to school. When you look at the Jamaica constabulary force and how that force, neighbor, was corrupted, was manipulated and used to the advancement of the People's National Party, neighbor, for their own political advancement and political will. They damage that organization, neighbor. There's still persons within the Jamaica Constabulary Force, neighbor, who still believe in that type of leadership style and leadership quality that was coming from PNP, neighbor. You had high-ranking members of the force, neighbor, who could just get a phone call and do certain things, neighbor, and Mountain could pull up at a member of parliament or a minister office and collect a piece of money and go about in business, neighbor. That was how things was being operated, neighbor. And a lot of police now, you talk about this government overworking them. Them don't like Labour right party, because when Labour, a lot of police and lawmen, a lot of both Jamaica Constabulary Force and Jamaica Defence Force, a lot of them said, they don't like when Labour right in the power, and when Labour right in the power be a work, Labour right work them, Labour right give them extra work for do, Labour right take everything serious, neighbor, that is the PNP cause all of them things, neighbor. That is why it is so difficult for this administration that is led by Michael and Joe and this neighbor to get the full understanding of Jamaicans behind him and get Jamaicans to rally around in policies and programs, neighbor. Because Jamaicans are saying that this is not how it was and this is not how it should be. We are used to this. We are used to the mediocrity. We are used to the high level of lawlessness. We are used to anytime police tap me, anytime we do something wrong, we can pay one police. That is what we are used to. Is police when we can call me MP and my MP can make a phone call down at the station and tell them to let me go. That is how PNP operate. That is what a lot of Jamaicans believe and know PNP used to run. You can go look at work out at JOTC, get fire and still collect your money every week. If your mother used to work out there, your father got to be that them pass on, you can still collect them salary every week because them even though them pass on, them names still at the payroll. When you look at Kingston Wharf, neighbor, I tell you this before, one day you could just walk, go down to Kingston Wharf. If you have certain power in Jamaica, you can take a vehicle off of the wharf and take anything you want to take off of the wharf. Kingston Wharf wasn't making 1 red cent. You could just take out anything and ship for anything you want. PNP did that, neighbor. PNP is the reason why a lot of Jamaicans till this day you don't want to work. PNP is the reason why a lot of Jamaicans bash the minimum wage and seminar work for that. PNP is the reason why a lot of Jamaicans never sit down and believe that politicians will take care of this and politicians will do that. The People's National Party, neighbor, is the biggest problem and create a psychologically effective Jamaicans, neighbor, that is holding us back right now, neighbor, even 20 and 30 and the years pass. And we still suffer because of PNP policy, PNP program. And it is just so sad that a high cross section of our society cannot see that, neighbor. And I would always tell this, neighbor, anyone who you consider in Jamaica to be well-thinking citizens, or consider themselves to be bright persons, or consider themselves to be academians, or consider themselves to be businessmen and businesswomen, neighbor, who line themselves with the PNP, just know they are selfish persons, neighbor, and they are persons who are not for the best interest of Jamaica, neighbor. But what the PNP, when the PNP in power can do for them, that is what serves them their best interest, neighbor. When you look at that, a consequential and important bill like NARA, where is the Master Builders Association? We were all the contractors across the length and breadth of Jamaica to come and back the government and say that yes, when they will forget what pay take too long. When they will apply for the contract, they will say yes, we get to it and take too long. It cannot run like that. It's affecting our business as well. If it is affecting our money flow, it is affecting our projection, how we project our profit and our losses. Because I sign off on a project for 4 years right now today, and the project don't get implemented in 3-4 years' time. That is madness. My resources are tied up in this one project that's not going to start 4 years' time. I have to be watching how I use my resources because I don't want this project to start and I am out of resources. But you don't hear nobody from the contracting side come attack. Because why? These guys benefit from PNP because they like the bureaucracy red tape, because they benefit from it. Because the more person these things have to pass through, neighbor, is the more it is corruption prone. It is open up for nepotism and cronyism. Because if you have a 1 man or a 2 man who pass something, it is easier that way. But when it got to 10 man, somewhere down the line, neighbor, one out of that 10 man neighbor might be vulnerable and might be open to take a bribe. It is full time now, neighbor, for Jamaica realize that it's PNP is our problem. And they have manipulated every single sector of our country, whether it's the health sector, whether it's the security sector, whether it's the construction sector, whether it's the hotel sector. The PNP have a mark on every single sector in our society, neighbor. They damage everything. They did us dirt. They didn't do us anything good when they was in power, neighbor, for the 18.5 years. Jamaica is in the talk about house. Jamaica is in a housing crisis as a result of the PNP, neighbor. They talk about building low-income house. The days when low-income house need to build past us, and we never benefit from it.
Yeah, no,
they talk about low-income house. The contractor build a low-income house now. The contractor don't take the money to build a low-income house now.
Yes.
When they get to the video, talk about low-income house. The days of building that past us, neighbor.
Oh,
when
God.
that did I say for $10 one.
Yes.
And Sidney did I say for $300 a yard. And Sidney did I say for $450 neighbor.
Yes.
How come I talk about low-income house? That pass us.
Yes.
Pass us. PNP cause that.
Oh,
PNP
God.
cause that.
Oh, that is so true.
Talk about low-income house. We never say that in this day and age.
That is quite true. You know, get for a house here less than $10-12 million.
We never seen a low-income house in this day and age, neighbor.
Boy,
that
I tell
pass
you.
us when time of the church of your bag of cement.
Yes.
Pass us when a $10 for one block.
Yes. well, Scratchy. Boy, thank you so much for closing us out with such great facts, man. Thank you so much, brother.
You're most welcome, neighbor, man.
Thank you.
Anything for the program.
Thank you so much. YouTube. Thank you so much. You've been great tonight. Thank you to all the subscribers. Thank you to all those who sent the super chat. Keisha, thank you so much. Wife Style Politics, thank you so much. YouTubers, okay, enough of you over here watching. Want to thank you so much. Music Freak, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Love to talk to you one of these nights on TikTok. And all my friends over there on YouTube. What a great friends you are, eh? Great friends. Please remember to subscribe. Please remember to join our membership and go to the merchandise store. And of course, YouTube, you know that we are working on a little project. We're working on a little project, and we're asking you to help us with a contribution. Until we join you tomorrow, YouTube, take care of yourselves. And Shafreen, thank you so much.
Yes, neighbor. Good night, everybody.
Goodbye. Good night. All right.